we're ready to move on to the dreaded section.
Oh.
X and Y.
The beginning of what we call the GGG and the fans.
So let me start off by saying this. I had, honestly, a lot of high hopes for this era. When this came out, I was like a senior in high school. I was watching it. I remember watching the first episode. And honestly, like when people express with cinema of black and white, it felt like an actual anime dub to me.
I think you watched not to interrupt Connor, but I think you might have watched the preview episode where they actually left the Japanese music in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that explains everything. Yeah, I don't blame you.
I felt the dubbing in the preview episode was more clumsy, but
she gave some good performances, and it really felt like it's an actual anime dub performance.
Right, Haven Pachal at first actually was okay. It's what happens later, but I mean, I can't blame her because the whole dub started going down the tubes.
I can talk about her voicing when I was trying to listen because I was curious about her.
Right, we're talking about season 17, right? So let's start first.
And Sarah Nodchenny. She has so many good moments. She's almost there.
But then we just, after the preview episodes, everything, the music situation starts. I can't believe I'm saying this, but 4Kids in Advanced Generation was much better about keeping the Japanese music than the XY dub was. I mean,
I agree fully to that.
it was like, how far have we fallen?
Yeah, we're at 19.3%. This is, as of now, this is where GGG started in the anime. This is their starting point. They're only keeping 4.5 pieces roughly per episode.
And it's usually at least battle theme music, I presume.
Yeah, that's what they were.
So,
yeah, they started with that, and then that was towards the end of the 4Kids dub, and towards the end of the BW dub, they were keeping more Japanese music than Goldfarb did when he started here. Yeah, this was not a good start to it after the preview episode. The voice acting started to get more inconsistent again. Sarah started getting more flat again, and grouchy in the gym battle when Ash fought Viola.
Yeah.
It was starting to nosedive again. I had the veggies thing. Even though peas and carrots are vegetables, they just, for some reason, JCC decided let's call them veggies.
Veggies.
Bonnie, you need to eat those veggies, please.
But I don't like these veggies at all.
But veggies are exceptionally nutritious. You won't grow up to become a first-rate trainer if you don't eat them now.
Yeah, but you know there are veggies you don't eat because you don't like them.
Well, that's different.
Wait a minute. You really don't like veggies?
Of course Clement loves veggies, right?
That's irrelevant. You finish everything on your plate, Bonnie.
It just amazes me how we were going in the right direction, and everything just started to go right back downhill.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And I don't know if, Tom Wayland was there for a good chunk of X and Y before all the allegations started. I don't think it had much to do with him or him leaving. It just, some sort of shakeup happened, and if anyone knows what it is, please let me know, but I don't know what happened. But the voice direction went back down. The music was going down up below 4Kids AG, which is pretty sad.
And TPCi last season BW too, below both of those.
Yeah.
So, and then also they stopped. I should have mentioned this earlier, so my fault. But in Black and White, they stopped the silent scenes in the anime, even though they were keeping more Japanese music at first. That Diamond Pro introduced, and then XY is just non-stop wall-to-wall music in the dub again. And 100% of the time. Even Black and White had some moments where they have the music shut up and go back to that. Then TPCi is back to Americanizing dubs. We're getting kanji edits. I don't know if you guys have seen the Karina kanji edit they made.
I've seen that.
I did not, actually.
But basically what they did is, Antoine probably knows, but they took the kanji in the Japanese version when she's like doing her little poses, and they replaced it with nothing. So...
Nothing.
Like a martial arts pose, and they had different kanji for it. Kind of like how Dragon Ball used to do it. Kind of an unnecessary edit.
And then the script is nosedive back to DP tier, and So Team Rocket are back to alliterating, rhyming, talking in slang, lugs, mugs, oy vey.
Because everybody loved that.
And Ash is back to sing Let Her Rip. He said it one time in the XY dub. He said, that's the way we roll.
Down the hatch.
This is where we need to put a foot on the gas. This is where we need to put a foot on the gas.
Yeah.
Wait, that was something he actually said.
Yeah, the XY dub.
Oh my god.
In the Ninja episode with Chris Patton and yeah.
Let me talk about Serena for a moment because I was curious about her. She looked like a nice girl, pretty and everything, and I wanted to see how she sounded because I've been checking out Dawn's voice and Iris's voice, and now Serena. So she sounded good, but only for the first 2 or 3 episodes. When she gets her Pokemon and she starts to travel, now her voice changed. Do you know how annoying it sounded? Like, okay, I mean, forget about Amy Rose from Sonic because everyone always says it's so annoying and everything, you know. This change in Serena's voice for after 3 episodes when she starts to set off to find Ash, it was so squeaky. It was so annoying, like a chipmunk, but much worse than a chipmunk.
And let's talk about this.
Yeah, sure.
Why is it that we get such good voice acting for a season? Now, this is a trend that I'm going to be honest. It sort of kind of continues until now. But in the second season, it just nosedives.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to put effort in the first season because they want to make a good impression at first, and then they get lazier and lazier.
No. It's just inconsistent of directing the voices.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, they changed Serena's voice. They changed it again. This time, her tone is lower, much lower now, and like an older woman, and not a teenager woman.
We can blame Tom Wayland for that.
Yeah, his fault. Sergi would want me to mention this, guys. I'm going to say this now. Pokemon voices.
But I pretty much jumped ship with the dub after Black and White, so I can only comment here and there for the later stuff. But
sure.
I'm kind of
I thought the preview episodes 1 and 2 were fine. There was not the voice acting was iffy, but you know what? Keeping the Japanese music actually made it worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. And then the original episode, what did you think when they rescored them?
That was the moment I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it in Japanese from here.
Yeah.
And God, the inconsistency is just killer. It's like, personally, I already hated Serena, but to have her voice all over the place like that, please, enough.
The only one of the XY characters of the main cast that I thought had a decent voice was Clement.
Yeah, Clement
sounded
was
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Serena
was annoying.
Serena was all over the place, and
Bonnie was too nasally and it sounded too much like a woman, just like Serena later.
Yeah.
I want to like Serena, but I mean, I think that's a different topic about her character and everything. But I just can't believe the directing of her voicing. It's like they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want exactly. You know, you can't just change the voices and directing, and keep it on the show like that. You know.
Then of course they decide they couldn't come up with something for an opening theme, so they're like, let's just remix the original.
Oh yeah, the Pokemon theme, right? You're talking about that.
God! I tried to stay away from it, and I eventually gave in with morbid curiosity when I watched a couple episodes of this. I want my life back.
I would prefer to hear that. I would prefer to listen to that. Hold on. I just wanted to. I would prefer to listen to that than the Diamond and Pearls rap intro.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I think I would. If you had me at knife point and had me pick one, I would have to take the horrible Pokemon theme remix. But that is a very hard choice either way.
It's not a bad remix. They just shortened it for 30 seconds. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's not a better version than Jimmy Page's original song, but at least it was nostalgia for me.
Hang on.
And
Hang on.
Jason Page.
Yeah, it's about to say
Oh.
he's not, but if the
have the beauty that is the movie, the Beyonce movie dub.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh god, we have to talk about this.
So I'll get started about
Only
this.
5 pieces of Japanese kept in the whole movie.
I was
And no
furious when I saw it
silence.
on Cartoon Network.
This is the first dub movie with no, even 4 kids. Never had every single movie I watched. Every single movie they dubbed, all 8 had silent moments.
Yeah, even the first 3 where they replaced most of the score still had silent moments.
Yeah, and now this is the first movie dub that has none of that, and TPCi hasn't learned anything. Say what you will, but in Advanced Generation and Mid and Late Dodo 4 kids bothered to keep the Japanese music in the movies and the Pikachu shows, and now in the XY dub that's gone.
Yeah.
This is the first time everything is rescored.
So we basically
agreed.
I watched maybe 5 to 10 minutes of the Beyonce movie in English, and I had to turn it off. I couldn't stand it.
No, the music just blasts throughout the whole thing, and it's so obnoxious. And
not to say that the movie is any better in Japanese, because it's
still
a shitty movie.
It's a mediocre movie, but you know, making it harder to watch is not doing any favors.
Yeah.
I actually showed Watcher a video the other day that one of my friends sent me. And it's basically the beginning of it is they're singing some of the English dub intros with and they're basically they made up lyrics about the music in those movies, but singing it to the tune of some of the theme songs. Mm-hmm. Then after that, they did a top 3 and a bottom 3. All 3 movies in the top 3 were 4 kids dubbed, and all 3 of the bottom 3 were TPCi dubbed.
Of course.
I mean, that's saying something. Yeah, I mean,
and there was one awesome lyric in there when it gets to Mastermind where it says, "This is where you should stop watching the dub."
And other than that, about season 17, this is where things started falling apart in the anime dub. I mean, this is below 4Kids AG. This is below TPCi season 16 BW. And how much Japanese music is being kept. The script has gone back to DB tier. The voice acting has gone downward to BF tier.
The acting has gotten worse than Battle Frontier.
Yeah, even worse. Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
It's utterly incomprehensible how we got to this point.
I have no idea either.
It really makes me wonder. I from what I know, once Tom Whalen, was booted, Lisa Ortiz, I believe, did the voice direction.
Teresa Bocaister took over. But then Lisa Ortiz after.
Okay, so I'm getting
we'll get to that.
My bad.
Okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll get to that. But yeah, and this was not a good start, to say the least. After the preview episode, we knew everything was going downhill again. So, and then I look at which episode, the highest amount of pieces kept in an episode, season 17 to 8. And again, that's worse than 4 Kids was in Advanced Generation. That's worse than TPCi was in season 16. So, and then the second one was a 7. So that's a great start by GGG. The average
if I could add something about the movie music, this is kind of a problem with both TPCi and Cartoon Network with what they did with the movies, and they liked cutting them up. But because there was no silence in these films at all with the dubs and the music kept going, you would have weird moments where Cartoon Network would splice around the film, so then the music would clash and suddenly just jump around, and you could tell where it was spliced, and it was awful.
And also the Cartoon Network airing 17 cut out the lyrics to the Pokemon theme where it was just the instrumental.
Yeah. He's right. You're right, Tommy.
That was really weird.
Yep.
So, needless to say, we did not have a good start here. Overall.
Nope. So I guess now we go to season 18.
Yeah, and okay, I'll give them only one thing here. At least the intro isn't as horrible as Diamond and Pro Rap and the XY of the Pokemon.
Now explain this intro because it's not a rap, but it's like some kind of punk rock. I kind of like the song, but it just doesn't fit with XY. That's all.
Yeah, it's just.
I'd say out of all of the themes that Goldfarb has composed, Be a Hero is probably his best one.
Yeah, I'll give him that. It's still not great, but compared to everything else he's done, it's okay.
Basically the below average Pokemon theme song.
I think that song belongs. I think that song belongs to Black and White.
Yeah. Oh, you mean that it should have been there?
Yes, because it takes place in
I can agree. Yeah, I can agree
honestly,
with that.
Outside of the opening, I don't have much to say about season 18 because I only watched those Japanese.
Right,
yeah, but you know what I'm trying to say with that song.
Yeah, I get it's out of. It should have been used for the BW season, not the X Brothers.
Yeah. So.
But I can go by what I've heard people say. That is the season where Gudra debuted, and apparently.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get.
It had a whole voice.
Did Tom Whalen get to voice Gudra, or was he out by then?
He voiced
Slagoo, and Gudra.
He voiced Gumi, Slagoo, and he voiced Gudra for a few episodes. Then he got booted.
That's when he got booted because I wasn't sure if he got booted. By
something unrelated to the company why he got booted, and I don't think we should talk about that.
No, we're gonna leave that out.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Billy Bob Thompson took over the role of Gudra after Tom Whalen got booted.
Actually, it's Jason Griffith who took over.
Was it?
Jason Griffith, yeah. Unless Tommy, I could be wrong because Bulbapedia had a Griffith.
Bulbapedia is probably wrong because it sounded more like Billy Bob Thompson to me.
I'd agree, honestly. I think
Billy Bob Thompson
messed up things.
has done voices like that. I mean, he was the entire Froakie line.
Right.
The Froakie line.
Greninja, I'm sorry, I can't take it seriously.
I think Billy Bob Thompson's voice is fine. I think it's fine for Froakie, but they should have changed it.
Yeah, it was fine for Froakie and Frogadier. Yeah, it was fine for Froakie and Frogadier, but when we got to Greninja, it just did not fit. It sounds too.
You deal with it in Smash Brothers.
It's a silly. I want to say a little silly.
Yeah.
Lisa Ortiz was Fletchling. That was okay. I don't have anything bad to say there.
Yeah, Fletchender is alright for a while.
Yeah.
So
Talonflame.
Okay, but Talonflame
is what really matters.
Yeah, from what I've heard you all say, Talonflame terrible.
Oh, it's terrible.
I have a lot to say about that scene, actually.
What is this season called? Is it still called XY?
Yeah, it's Kalos Quest.
Kalos Quest,
but we're getting ahead to season 19 now, so let's just focus on that.
Gudra. We don't need to. Yeah, let's not jump to XY.
Yeah, so XY Kalos Quest. So now we're keeping 3.5 pieces of Japanese without a 17% kept. 17, that's right. And we're down to 3.5 pieces kept per episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
they just do not do justice for the evolution scenes. They just really butcher them, especially the Talonflame one.
Yeah.
Well, I did not hear generic dramatic music you can think of. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And also we got 2-1.
Sarah did not even
by X
really well.
Episodes.
It was terrible.
I'm trying to remember what played in the Japanese version. Wasn't it like Geta Bonbon or something?
It was
Kita Kita.
Yes.
Or Kita. Yeah.
Which was it?
Kita Kita.
Oh, Kita Kita. Yes.
Yeah, it's another of Sako's songs. Tomohisa.
Yeah, the Clement theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not crazy about Clement's voice.
I think it's not bad, but it could have been a little less deep, is what I want to say.
Yeah, but I think
Clement's voice compared to
very puberty-like.
Clement's voice compared to Serena and Bonnie is god tier.
Tolerable.
Yeah,
how do you compare Clement's to? Wait, how do you compare? How do you compare Clement's voice to Cylon from Black and White?
Not as good.
Yeah,
not as good.
Not really as well.
I mean, his Japanese voice. Also,
yeah, I think actually speaking of Black and White, Iris.
The Japanese voice of Clement's also voiced by an adult male.
Yeah, so I get why they cast it.
See, my opinion is you don't always have to match the Japanese voice to give that character the same sound. You could be creative and make him sound like a teenager scientist, inventor, to sound more like a geek if you want, and make it work somehow.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't have minded
honestly, if
that.
she was still alive and still voice acting, I could totally see Christine Cavanaugh as Clement.
That's actually a brilliant
Or
choice.
hell, if
Interesting,
Maddie Blostein was still around, I'd definitely see her as Clement.
I want to say Ted Lewis too, maybe.
I was gonna say Ted Lewis actually as well.
Yeah.
Ted
I could
Lewis,
see Ted
yes.
Lewis.
Why the hell did they not do that? That would have been perfect.
He would have sounded too much like Tracy.
Yeah, you have a point there too.
Yeah. But we don't see Tracy anymore anyway.
It would have fit.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have differentiated it enough where, like, yeah, it kind of sounds like Tracy, but, you know, you can tell it's not exactly Tracy. And it's not like we're seeing Tracy anytime soon anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, poor guy. He never gets any love.
He's been banished to the Shadow Realm.
He's been banished by the big fat
in the
meanie.
credits of I Choose You.
Yeah, but he didn't speak.
He's been sent
still,
to
I
a
mean.
next dimension.
At least that, but that's for later.
He's
I
still not
mean,
speaking.
Yeah.
He's still not talking.
He's in the reverse world, you guys.
Yeah, but I mean, he still doesn't talk. They just show scenes of him the blank. He's just staring.
Yeah.
And then when Tom Wayland got the sack, also the voice for Clement and Bonnie's father changed to, I think it was
Meyer.
to Wayne
Meyer.
Meyer.
Right.
I think they changed his voice to Wayne Grayson.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. And so we're season 18. I don't really have much to say. Gudra sounds okay. I'll say this. Gudra sounds horrible.
That's
And
about
I'm
all
not
I
saying-
can say about it.
Yeah, it sounds like
Alon sounds horrible.
Scooby Doo. Everyone's joked about Gudra sounding like Scooby Doo in the dub. It really does.
the only thing I'll say about XY in this season, the only thing that I was really, really disappointed. I have not been watching the show, but I've been
Skimming?
reading. I've been reading about it. Yeah. The only thing I was curious about was Serena. So I kind of liked her, but I was disappointed that they changed her look.
Well, again, that's back to Japan, but they
that's not TPCi.
Yeah.
Fault.
Yeah,
You
and
blame-
that's meant to be a sort of symbol.
You blame OLM for that.
Yeah, it was meant to be
Johnny,
a sort of symbol of character development.
Right.
I almost forgot. We totally skipped over Tierno, Shauna, and Trevor's.
Oh yeah, good, perfect.
Oh.
Thanks, man.
God,
Tierno-
why'd you have to remind it?
Tierno, I don't know what happened.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. Todd Habercorn is a great voice actor.
Sarah Nanche was really started to shine, really started to go downhill at the same time. I just watched an episode of her recently where Sarah Nanche, but some of her staples is a forced laugh. You always get the
Oh yeah, not everybody don't know how to laugh.
But there's this one episode I saw. She had a very natural Veronica Taylor-esque laugh.
Wow.
One time.
Oh.
And it's like catching lightning in a bottle with Sarah Nanche. He's like, there's so much there. Just basically pull more out of her. I know she can do more than what she gives us even today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just unfortunate, really, that the direction is this. Yeah, I mean, and then you have Sarah Nacheni crying, and the Gudra scene, that was bad. Like, I mean, you can tell Ash sounds like I know people have said, oh, you know, he sounds like a girl before, but he really sounded like a teenage girl when he was crying.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that became a big problem through X, Y, and Z, but I'm not going to say much about that.
Yeah, I want to address that with X, Y, and Z too.
I thought we
that
were
is
to X, Y, and Z. I thought we were going to X, Y, and Z.
From what I heard of Shauna, she is Two Valley Girl.
Yeah, and Pokey-tacular. Remember the original script? They had Pokey-tacular.
Oh God, right.
And then Trevor sounds all wrong. A male voicing a character that was voiced by a female in Japanese.
Did you say Poketacular?
Yeah, they actually put that in the dub script. JCC put that in.
Of course.
And now I guess we can move on to, I'd say, the worst movie of the Pokemon franchise, Hoopa and the Clash of Ages.
The cringe of ages.
Yeah.
Hoopa.
Oh my. Even in Japan, this is bad. So, you know.
Yeah, even the Japanese version was terrible.
There's no getting around this one.
Movie.
The problem wasn't Hoopa, was it?
Hoopa had 2 dub voices, and neither of them was good. The one in the trailer.
For the teaser trailer, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Carrie Williams, who was Casey and Joe.
Who, again, good voice actress, but talent sucked out.
Yeah.
Yep.
The real question, though, is, are you surprised?
No.
No. Well, I was not surprised. Were you surprised?
Not with TPCi, but with the Japanese version, yes.
The only good thing about the Japanese version of the movie was the remixes of some of the older tracks.
Some of those I could appreciate, and then at the same time, some of them kind of made me just want to go listen to the original soundtracks to begin with.
Like that awesome remix of the To Be Continued theme from Kanto.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, TPCi replaced that, and 4Kids kept the original form of that.
Yep.
You guys have pretty good memory.
Yeah,
and
I know
DDG. And then Will Fight 2, which got replaced in the movie, but TPCi kept in an episode of Sun and Moon.
And 4Kids kept in an episode of Advanced Generation.
I don't understand the inconsistency. It's not licensing at that point. It's just, we don't want to keep the movie soundtrack, but we'll let it slide.
It just shows that they have the rights to this music. They just choose not to use it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because if we replace the music, we get more money.
That's all it is.
Royalty.
It's a money-making thing. And about Will Fight 2, 4Kids kept the original form of that and gulping it down in season 7 in Advanced Generation. Yeah.
On that Misty
TPCi
episode?
kept it in, and TPCi kept it in the Palace Sand episode you mentioned, Sun and Moon. But they wouldn't keep it in movie 18. But, I mean, what was and Palace Sand was an unimportant episode to keep it as a filler.
They should have kept it in the Ash versus Olivia.
Exactly, and they replaced it there. But and then oh my god, I didn't bring up before we move on to season 19 the dub music, the do 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 na na every single friggin' episode in the
it's the XY equivalent to Batman.
What? And the flutes are very overused.
It is. It may not have been spammed as much as Batman, but it opens every episode. I swear. I mean, Tommy, did you hear open every dub episode, right?
I did not watch XY dub.
Okay, I think it opened like every dub. It wasn't spammed like 5-6 times like Batman, at least, but
it was a frequent
annoying
visitor.
Yeah,
and I agree with every point that was made in that don't watch Pokemon dubbed video.
Yeah,
but it's propaganda.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I guess we're moving to X, Y, and Z now.
Who was it only kept 4 and a half.
This is where I gave up on
9%.
watching the episodes.
Yeah, XYZ's dub. It's now
XYZ. Stand tall, cause I know I'm a...
You know, you guys warned me on that song because I had not really caught many episodes on X, Y, and Z. And I was like, it can't be that bad.
Earworm, gotta catch 'em all.
What was your first
bad?
I don't know why they had to add that in. It made no sense.
It's the definition of lazy.
It does not make sense phonetically.
It's the shortest lyrics of any dub opening ever.
It is.
How short is it?
They tried to extend it in the Volcanion movie 19.
But they did more instrumental, which was...
Yeah.
What?
So how long was the opening this time?
We're down now. They were going below 30 seconds, so I'm pretty sure
that's
29.
Yep.
Oh, well, it's just 1 second less.
When we get too greedy, we should have dubbed the Japanese opening. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all.
Stand tall, even for the dub is up to that point. I'd say it's one of the worst dub openings.
Easily. I would easily put it in the top 5 worst.
And
yeah,
it's
about as bad as the DP rap.
It's pretty close.
Oh, I think I'll be fine away from that.
Yeah, and
this is the season where Noivern appeared first time Japanese voice, and then the next episode it's dubbed over.
Yeah, the same with.
It sounds like a vampire or something vomiting.
And like I said,
I mean, if I was in that dub, I'd be vomiting too.
Yep.
I think Mark Thompson's the one that voiced him.
The
same who does Tepe.
Yeah.
And
he was good as Tepe. What happened?
And what's so stupid is that in the end of Black and White, Alexa's Noivern kept its Japanese
voice. Yeah, he's right. And now they replaced it.
Yeah, they were just cutting down on voice actor royalties as much as they could, and I mean, it gets worse in season 20.
It's getting to the point where the only two they're willing to pay are Iko Otani and Shinichiro Miki. That's it.
Yeah, for Tarzan and Pikachu, respectively. That's it.
Yep.
All right, so this is actually the season where I went for my Sarah Non-Chinese comment to go because I had no idea what she did in season 18, but I know in season 19, particularly one episode, I can't remember which times, but again, her voice, it sounds so sounded natural, the natural laugh. I can still get over the natural laugh and what comes later. It sounded, again, this and Black and White were the closest she sounded to Veronica. And actually,
closer to Rika.
Yeah, more like Rika, actually. But
well, on that argument, I place her breakdown scene after the Wolfric episode.
Yeah.
Oh God!
You couldn't possibly understand how I feel.
You don't have a clue how I feel.
Yeah, Veronica would have slayed them.
Yeah, that was not.
She might have actually gone that down, as forced as I think that whole emotional thing was, even in the Japanese version. Yeah. But God, at least it wouldn't have been so hard on the ears.
Can you explain that scene to me? How it went?
And Goldfarb put Korean music in.
Oh yeah, that makes it even better. So, for context of this scene, what happens is Ash loses his battle against Wolfric, who's the final gym leader in XY, and he starts to go in a mopey depression for some reason, despite having won against plenty of gym leaders in his life.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I guess he starts questioning his bond with Greninja and if it's powerful. So he starts moping out in the freezing cold, by himself. And Serena goes to cheer him up, and then he yells at her. Because you couldn't possibly understand how I feel. I have teenage emotions.
Even though I'm a 10-year-old boy.
But are you saying what was bad about that was the music selection or just
everything?
Everything.
The voice acting, I'm sorry, but Sarah Natachini just read, this was Battle Frontier Tier. It was just reading off the line, no emotion, just, you don't have a clue how I feel.
The way you're describing it sounds just like, Snorlax, no!
It was like that, except with the new current, the deeper and the gruffer.
Yeah, and that just makes it more painful.
And not to say it was not only Natachini's fault, because Lisa Ortiz is voice director, so therefore, by this point, Lisa Ortiz is the voice director.
It's more Lisa Ortiz's fault.
Yeah, and then
this is when she took over, right?
Yeah. That's why she took over.
You think that you think she would actually direct the show better because she has been with 4 kids, but I don't understand
there has to be someone higher up than her
that's doing this.
Here's another thing. Voice directing and voice acting are 2 completely different occupations and require different skill sets, and I have nothing against Lisa Ortiz. I've met her at conventions. She's a wonderful woman to talk to. She's great, but I don't think she's fit as a voice director. I don't think she is really understanding, what they have to nail because it's not working.
She's a good voice actress, but
here's what I think, and I know they won't do it. Why not just bring Michael Hagney back?
They should.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that would be acknowledging 4 kids' history.
Yeah.
Or Darren Dunstan, they won't do that.
Because Michael Hagney at least knows how to,
direct
do stuff.
Yeah, knows how to direct people.
Unlike Tom Wayland and Teresa Buckeister, who don't know jack squat
about directing. Yeah,
about directing.
Lisa Ortiz is a good
actress,
but not a good voice director.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I have lots of respect for Lisa Ortiz as a voice actress.
Same. I liked her Xena in versus Slayers. She was good at that. And
I liked her as a Sabrina.
That's what I was going to say.
And Flannery was good. Flannery was good. Mars was good. And
that one character in the Bye Bye Psyduck episode.
Hell.
Yeah, Bye Bye Psyduck.
My favorite Pokemon of all time is voiced by.
Who? What?
Yeah, Oshawott. Yeah, she was good at
Oshawott. Oh, Oshawott. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to voice directing, unfortunately, the skills didn't translate.
Yeah. It's two completely different jobs, and I just don't think she's able to get it down.
And
that's
also
a big
shame.
That's a big shame, yeah.
Yeah, and Goldfarb did not help. Goldfarb did not help.
Of course, Goldfarb's music replacing Gopal really, but Gopal's music replacing is starting to get really, really bad here.
Yep.
He just played some like accordion synth. Is that what it sounds? You don't have a clue how.
I already told you what I think it sounds like. Monkeys banging on trash can lids.
No, that's the where Serena and Ash fought. I remember seeing it, but in the Japanese version. So I think it's better when you listen to it in that version.
It was way more emotional than that, and the dub is just deadpan. And Goldfarb did even more damage because he just.
Okay.
He just.
Wait.
Yeah, monkeys banging on trash can lids, and monkeys banging on synthesizer keys.
Yeah, combination.
Goldfarb did not help. Yeah.
There was this one scene I remember where I think Clement had a crush on this girl, and then this one scene where that background sounded like it was so weird, like you're taking LSD.
I honestly think that scene in Japanese had no music playing.
It did. It was silent.
Well, I don't know what was I listening to. What kind of music is that?
Goldfarb.
Oh. So here we have one positive. There's one positive. At the very end, near the end of the series, they actually left the Squishy song intact.
What Squishy song?
That was the one good thing.
The song for Squishy.
You mean Zagarde?
Zagarde? Yeah, team player art.
Zagarde?
Oh. Yeah, that was the only good thing. Everything else, oh my god, I have a lot to say.
And there was no stupid dub music added either. It was like it was in Japanese. First, Bonnie singing with no music.
That was the one good thing. Yeah, that was the only good thing. I agree with that. But then we had, when we got to the, I'm trying to think, the censorship. The voice acting is JPR said this. I'm not saying this. Did Sarah smoke a 10-pack before she voiced this episode?
Oh my god!
What he said.
The chain smoker jokes.
But what I think is it was very gruff and deep and effeminate. That's my opinion, and it didn't sound like a boy.
The Flare arc is where her Ash started to sound like a teenager.
Yeah, especially like there were hints of it before full blown.
So I could talk about the censoring where Ash was captured by Team Flare, and then they changed it where he looked like he was crucified, and then instead lowered his arms down.
Yeah, it's because they didn't want. They did that because they didn't want to offend soccer.
Well,
Offend what?
Soccer moms.
Soccer moms.
Well, my counter argument is this: why were they concerned about this looking like crucifixion when really there's no cross sign or anything like it behind Ash? Or it's just the way they're held up.
Not only that, way back in the show, Misty held up a cross, and
that was 4Kids era. So I
remember.
Count that's this logic.
Yeah.
But in Best Wishes, with Meloetta, they had her in a similar pose, and there was like a star-like shape behind her that was very much closer to a cross than the way Ash and his Pokemon were held up.
And they left it intact.
Oh my god!
Did that star look like it was from Israel?
I don't think it wasn't like that. It was like a basic sort of
okay,
kind of like when you draw a 4-point star.
I put him down.
But it looked more like a cross or crucifixion than this scene does, and I have no idea why they felt the need to change it or the expressions.
Okay, yeah. So let me continue with my talk on that censorship. So you want to change that? Fine. So they just lowered his arms down. But how do you explain when Ash was in pain and when he screams, he's zoned out, like he's high or something?
Oh my god.
He really does just look like he's on straight up LSD.
Legit.
Exactly. Why?
Well, let's just speed up a bit. Why?
And
we can't show kids in actual pain. No violence here.
Yeah.
But
As
we
if it's
can
not violent
Twilight
enough.
standard.
And what made it worse was okay. So we're at point 9. I'm just gonna sum up the music. 15% of Japanese is kept, only 3 pieces per episode on average, and I had more trivia to add. The amount of only 1 piece of Japanese music kept episodes in this season is equal to the amount in the entire 4Kids dub.
My God.
There are 5 of them, and then the other season 18 had 2, and then before that we had 1. No, we had 2, 2, and then 5. Next one, so we had 9 in all, and 5 of them were from season 19.
Scooby.
So by this point, TPCi has about won by XX. Well, there's only 1 piece of Japanese music kept in the episodes in 4Kids. We're at this point, and we also have censorship back.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
The season where Watcher, you told me they accidentally left in Japanese or something.
Where?
In season 19.
They didn't leave in much in the. Maybe I don't recall it, but you mean in a specific scene or?
No.
You told me there was one scene where they accidentally left in his Japanese.
Yes, Trevor's Japanese voice. Yes, in the Talonflame episode.
Yeah.
That is such a weird mistake to make.
So yeah, they did that, and then that's not even a Pokemon. It would look like humans. And 4Kids did that in Kanto, but now TV has done it too. So wonderful.
And to be fair, there was a lot going on that happened with the 4Kids. They were being sucked in a tornado, twister, hurricane, dragon rage.
Oh yeah, there were many instances in the kids dub where I've heard Rika's Ash.
Yeah,
Really?
in the Kanto season especially, yeah. But they stopped doing that later. It didn't happen in later seasons, and now here we are.
In fact, the last time I remember doing it was in Stage Fight when Raichu started crying, and when Meowth says to knock it off, you hear both Maddie and Inuka Inuyama.
And that's season 2, right?
Yeah.
So then the rest of 4Kids didn't do that. Now TPCi is doing it again. So bummer.
It's lazy editing.
But the only reason that happened was so they could keep Raichu's voice.
Yeah, which is understandable. Here, why did they let Trevor's Japanese voice slip in? They didn't keep any of the Japanese.
I mean,
voices.
they were barely keeping any Japanese voices.
Yeah, and Talonflame sounds like a jock, is what I want to say. Stereotype of a jock. And I mean, there's not much. The script is just bad. It's just really bad.
It is.
So yeah, Greninja.
So dramatic speech in the team.
Yeah, Greninja.
Water shuriken.
Yeah, and how do people label XYZ the best? I guess it's just because of the epic battle with Ash Greninja against Mega Charizard X.
Well, no, because everyone was pissed about that because Ash lost the league when everyone thought he could have won.
Right.
Yeah.
It was more of the Team Flare arc than anything, which is one of the few things I actually like about X and Y personally.
Yeah, and then the dub ruined that, but
yep.
And then they had a Dog Pulse. Go is in this season.
Dog Pulse, and I'm sure it's just bad sound balancing, which they've become very guilty of in this series now. But why? Make sure your voice clips are clear. Make sure the audio isn't balanced like crap.
And then Bibion used stuns for sleep powder in Japanese. So by this point, we're having all moves and typed errors, just like 4Kids had. So that's another thing that's back.
And then Houndour being called Houndour.
Yeah.
And that voice actor is still getting grief for that sometimes.
Damon Mills, actually.
Right.
How have we gone to that?
Even after he's moved on to being bigger and better things, like being the understudy for Chris Ayres and being Monica.
Yeah, at least thank God. But but that's JCC's fault because he got Countdown. Houndoom confused for Houndour. So.
And then then Greninja
That's embarrassing.
I still couldn't believe that one when I heard it. How do we make that mistake?
And then the episode only kept 7 pieces of Japanese, and that's a peak for GGG for the last 2 seasons, which is below 4Kids' peak in the last season.
Woo! 7 songs.
And then we have 5-1 by XX episodes, so wonderful.
I also gotta say, I just very dislike Alon's English voice.
Yeah, his English voice was terrible.
Oh, Alon.
It's okay to talk about since this is where Mega Evolution specials, they all intertwine with the XY.
We can bring that up, speaking of that this is... Yeah, this is the equivalent to 4Kids Chronicles, is the Mega Evolution specials for TPCi.
So and it's a shame because these specials were good. And then they butchered all the music. Some of the voice acting was pretty awful, but they did at least get Steven's actor back, apparently.
Yeah.
Andrew Paula Steven was the only good thing.
But everything else, oof.
Yeah.
Beyond Evolution, Mega Evolve.
Yeah, he just Jonathan Silver got worse than when he came back.
This is the Mega Evolution specials and everything from X, Y, and Z on is where the TPCi dub starts getting into Agapio Digimon territory.
I'll get to Team Rocket's voices. Okay, so I already didn't like the Sinoda voices for them, so you take those and you amplify. So James now sounds goofy. He sounds nasally. He sounds like an old man with a cold. And on top of all of this, he just shouts and screams everything. So it's the worst of Advanced Generation Dub James and DP Dub James in a package.
It's really bad.
And then we have Jessie's voice is getting more high pitched than ever, and she sounds ditzy. I don't know what happened.
I do remember this wasn't season 19, the episode where James was dressed up as Ash, and he was basically doing the Gary voice.
Yeah,
that's in season 17.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. Please get it off screen.
It's in season 17.
I knew I was a bit late on that one, but you mentioned, how JCC did all those things, and I'm just like, I can't not mention this part.
And Meowth's voice is deeper, gruffer, and gravelier than ever before, so...
Dig it.
Meow, where'd you get the smokes, man?
I think you got from MASH.
Probably. The alliteration, another thing, the alliterations with just the whole dialogue is just really, really bad too. And it's just it just ruined just my view on Team Rocket, and it just ruined how 4Kids just set up these characters so well, and then just TPCi just butchering them to the lowest extent.
Yeah, it's just sad. Even their worst wasn't even close to this bad. It's sad.
No, I can agree with that.
And it gets worse.
Yeah.
It's so surprising.
Okay, so do anyone want to talk about Volcanion movie or
Volcanion?
We kind of mentioned how Stan Tall was somehow extended for that movie, and it still sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But compared to the other movies, is Volcanion good?
It's decent. Mike Pollock's okay.
It's an actually alright movie. It's just a shame the dub handled it the way they did.
Yeah, and Goldfarb did the most damage again.
Yep.
Yeah, especially Magirna's song, which really just ruined it.
But you had Mike Pollock as Volcanion, which I did like.
Yeah.
Mike Pollock did Volcanion?
Yeah, and he did like a Western accent for it because in the Japanese version he had a Kansai accent. That's usually how we translate.
Well, that's good.
So that was actually done well. But
where I laughed,
that's the most I can give it.
Overall.
I laughed when I don't know if any of you saw this, but when Alva falls out of the fortress or something, right? And then that goofy circus music at Goldfarb puts in. I just lost it laughing. Like, how am I supposed to take that seriously?
I just don't understand his compositions and the placement of
fun thing. Yeah, this kid's falling. Yeah,
it's fine.
I'm falling to my death. Here's goofy circus music. It's cheerful.
It's okay. He's just a happy little main character. He won't die. Says the other movie. I don't know.
Says every other movie he's died in, but has also come back to life.
Resurrected. Yeah. I think that's about it. Oh, one more thing. Sean Schimmel was supposed to actually play Alba, and TPCi didn't let him, so they gave it to Bob Thompson.
Really?
Yeah, because in the initial trailer it was Sean Schimmel.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's interesting.
I'm guessing it's because he has said some bad things. Right?
Yeah. About TPCi, yeah. Publicly.
I'm surprised that he's also blacklisted.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, he still did Lucario in Smash 4, so...
Yeah, so he came back for that. There's that.
But I think he did that under... under Nintendo. Though.
Nintendo,
yeah. But I mean, DuArt still provides, like, all the voices for Pokemon and such.
Yeah.
And that's why we have things like Enkei in there.
Inkei.
I was told Lucario's voice in Smash Brothers is a recording from the movie.
No, it's not.
No, it's different. It's definitely.
No, they actually have him recording lines for Smash.
Oh wow!
It makes me wonder what they're gonna do for Smash Ultimate.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? What?
Because what they had is Sean Schimmel voiced in movie 8, then Bill Rogers voiced him in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the first one, and then now Sean Schimmel came back for Super Smash Bros. Brawl 4.
Honestly, I hope for Lucario they just reuse Schimmel.
I do too.
Yeah.
I said I personally like the voice of Lucario from Brawl.
Yeah, so that's Bill Rogers, but I like Sean Schimmel more because he gives him more depth. What I want to say.
Yeah.
Myself, that's in my opinion. But,
right, of course.
But I think that's about it for the XY. We're leaving off a 15% of Japanese music cap, which is just bad.
Disgraceful.
Yeah.
Oh, but are you ready to get to the bottom of the barrel?
One more thing before we move on. Yeah, Sun and Moon, which is the bottom of the barrel. Sorry, my bad.
Sun and Moon.
The movies. This is the first saga. Original series had the last 2 movies. 4Kids kept all Japanese music, and the second movie kept at least 2 pieces. The Team Rocket ones, at least. Advanced Generation kept almost all Japanese music movies. So did DP. So did BW. XY is the first saga where not one movie kept most of Japanese music. All 3 of them had heavy music replacements.
I want to say one thing too.
Awful.
I want to say that it's very weird how on XY through Sun and Moon is like the only dubs where they do not keep at least any form of Team Rocket's Secret Strategy theme.
They do in Sun and Moon. No, they don't keep. They keep the motto. You're right. Yeah, they don't even keep the strategy thing. The lurking.
Yeah.
Thing.
But do they still keep the motto theme?
I'm gonna get the Ghostbusters reject remix in season 19 and season 18.
Oh yeah,
you have to remember, 4Kids replaced the Hoenn version of Secret Strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
they did.
Yeah, that's true.
But they almost always kept the original version.
Yeah, and TPCi is replacing all of it now. So
but 4Kids, they had their own dub version of Team Rocket's Secret Strategy theme, which is interesting.
Yeah, too.
Which is just a reorchestration of the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And TPCi didn't keep the Hoenn motto in VF either. They kept it in DP, I think, but not in VF.
But TPCi did in Battle Frontier and DP keep the original version.
Yeah, the original version, but not the Hoenn remix in VF. Maybe in DP, I think they did, but not in VF.
But at least any form of it, just making like random, sneaky detective like music,
yeah.
Which
at least 4Kids left. At least 4Kids left the original theme and all the Hoenn episodes, the original OS one at least. But in XY stuff, that got canned. The XY one got canned with Goldfar's Ghostbusters type music on it for it.
Yeah.
And heck, I even liked it in the episode. TPCi kept the instrumental version of Rocketman no Danka.
They did. You're right. Whenever
it was the instrumental.
Yeah, they actually did. That was the only good thing. Yeah. When they were that remix, that like badly, it sounded like a remix, kind of right.
But they replaced it. They replaced it in the motto if it was the song version.
Yeah,
of course.
Because we don't want to expose children to Japanese
things.
Because they'll turn the channel and discuss.
Don't you see? America's your only culture here.
And by this time, there's one more thing I gotta add. There's so much of it. But by this time, even battle music, 4Kids always, at least, that was safe. And now TPCi is replacing battle music half the time.
I mean, like, it makes sense to keep the battle music because it's part of the games. That's what you're advertising. That's what people are going to associate with Pokemon. Of course you keep the battle music. But when you lose even that, then what do you have left?
Half of it's replaced that even Pork is kept. That is
especially replacing Lysandre or like Sanders' theme in the battle with Ash and Alon fought, against him. As as in Mega Evolution Special 1, where we had the introduction of Seabold, they played the Pokemon League theme and the Elite Four battle theme. And they replaced it in the dub too, but they brought back the theme in Sun and Moon, which is like
ridiculous.
How does that happen?
Yeah, they get rid of the champion themes and they get rid of the Elite Four themes. Even Fork has kept those in Holland, for God's sakes.
Like, people are going to notice these things. There's no point in bringing it back
in this day and age, they're absolutely going to notice.
If I remember right, the XY theme was kept in Sun and Moon.
Yeah, and they kept it randomly in Sun and Moon, one episode, and it just...
I think it was the Alola and Marowak episode.
That's the right one. Yeah, that's the one. The crowning moment of truth.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Yeah, they only kept 6 pieces, but that was one of them. So
that was one of the better episodes.
Yeah, for Sun and Moon, that's really a bad bar, right?
Oh yeah. I think I've seen it.
So I think we've covered everything, XY dub. We've gotten, I think we've covered it. Honestly, for me, I don't know if you guys agree, but up to this point, not including Sun and Moon, I think XY had the poorest dub up to this point of any of the songs.
Oh yeah, for certain.
Absolutely.
Oof, God.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
They really set the bar so low.
I'm still furious, actually, because this movie is never going to be fixed, and neither are any of the dubbed XY episodes. For those of you who haven't noticed these atrocious edits, I'll make an example for you. Imagine your favorite scene from any action movie, and then paste some horribly unfitting background music over it.
Alright, going on to what may become the most infamous point in the dub's history, unless there's any kind of a redub or anything. But that's probably long in the distant future if it's going to happen. The XY dub, which ended up being the ultimate base breaker for the fandom. Where do I even start? Wow. Well, you know what? Let's start at the very beginning of it, because while the black and white dub was still airing, we had the preview episodes, the first 2 episodes, which were dubbed and aired on Cartoon Network less than a week after they aired on TV Tokyo, which is fantastic. That is great speed dubbing, even if some of the acting was a little bit rough at the beginning, especially in the case of Professor Sycamore with his ultra deep voice. Whoa. No, honestly, they weren't bad preview episodes. Again, some rough bits of roughness on the edges, but they kept 100% of the Japanese score, which at that point was a little, was kind of rare. We hadn't had that in a few years at that point, so it was very hopeful, actually, and kind of a great sign of things to come. At least at the time anyways, because we're like, oh my gosh, this series is already looking so good as we were watching it in Japan. I can't wait for the dub to start up its official season, because these first 2 preview episodes, they kept all the Japanese score, and the script was pretty good as well, very accurate. They're really, honestly, besides maybe a couple of the voices, I didn't really see a reason for these preview episodes to get redubbed. But then they redubbed them, and they threw out most of the Japanese score, and the entire season, oh my gosh, it was pretty much the complete opposite of these preview episodes, because we got the script rewrites, we got, with the exception of voice acting, honestly, the voice acting I didn't think was that great during the entirety of the XY series, with the exception of certain characters here and there, but it was such a disappointment. I remember at the time seeing it go down like this, because in my case, for the history of the dub, and especially my preferences for the music, I originally started off with the dub over the years, right? And during Black and White, actually, I started to sort of watch the Japanese version more consistently. And I would end up going into that full time with X and Y. And around halfway through X and Y's first dub season, I just completely gave up on it and went full time Japanese version. At that point, I had already pretty much embraced, being a big fan of Shuji Miyazaki's music and all that as well. So it just wasn't a good combination for me in general. But a lot of people, if it wasn't the first season of the dub or the first movie of the XY dub, it was definitely by its second season, the second movie, for sure. A lot of people who had watched the dub all their lives ended up dropping it. Again, for numerous reasons, music being a big one for sure for a lot of people, but other reasons as well. But wow, it wasn't just so much that the music was being replaced, but that the music that was replacing it clashed so much with what the scenes were originally meant to convey. The tone was completely changed. It was unlike anything that the dub had really seen, at least on this scale before. It was nuts. And again, it was disheartening for a lot of us fans who did want to see more of the score being kept, especially with X and Y, again, completely throwing away older music in the Japanese version. We got newer music with some remixes. It was just, wow. It was shocking. That's probably one of the biggest reasons, regardless of whether the actual changes were liked or if people consider them better or not. Just the severe contrast between this series, but also the preview episodes of it. It was crazy. And despite all the music changes happening throughout the season, everyone was still kind of okay, but it can't be it's going to be the end of the world, right? Because we've had similar situations with the music at this level before. But then movie 17, the first XY movie, it premiered on Cartoon Network with the majority of its score being dub exclusive. And it's wow, they actually went there after over a decade of the movies keeping the majority of the Japanese score. They completely went back on it. They have a fully wall-to-wall Lack of Silence score done by, in this case, the new dub composer Ed Goldfarb. And again, the big key thing here is that the tone of so many scenes in the dub for the show and the movies is just completely changed by the scoring. The Lack of Silence as well. That's a big point. And it just clashed so much with the Japanese music whenever it did appear. It was, holy crap. Obviously, casual viewers aren't really going to notice anything if they're not even going to compare the two versions. But even then, I know a lot of people who were somewhat casual viewers just dropping the X and Y series, not because of the music, but just they weren't enjoying it as much. Maybe the music had a role to play with that. Maybe they didn't. Who knows? It was rough because this was the series for the dub to actually probably get its get its butt into shape and actually start portraying it in a more accurate fashion. This was the series to possibly turn around any misconceptions or bad views that the Western world has about Pokemon. Because here's the thing. There is a lot of scrutiny against the Pokemon anime in the Western world because it's been dubbed so. I guess in a lot of cases, it's dubbed in a way that would make its viewers seem like juveniles, like children. But yeah, it is a franchise aimed at children. But the way that they dumb down some of the dialogue, especially this applies to the 4Kids dub as well. So every dub here is guilty of this. But just the way it is dubbed, especially in comparison to other great dubs that were coming out at the time. We had Dragon Ball Z Kai, the final chapters was coming in at some point real soon, I think around then. Just Funimation was seeing a huge rise as well, right? So in comparison, this X and Y dub was wow, what? We had this epic shonen anime that I was getting very invested into with the Japanese version, and then seeing all these radical changes a few months later for these episodes in the dub, it just completely turned me and a lot of other people off. I was it was just crazy. So yeah, I dropped the actual show dubbed for the first time ever in the middle of its first season. I think the last episode I saw was as a regular viewer, anyways, was the Mirror World episode. Because at that point, I was only really just watching them to see how they would handle the dialogue and everything. But after that, I just didn't even care. And then the movie happened, and I was just so done with it. And then, of course, there was always hopes that with every season there would be like a new contract renewal or whatever, and then things would change. But no, it just ended up getting worse and worse in those regards. At least by movie 19, that one was at least competently dubbed for like voice acting and script. And Ed Goldfarb music, admittedly, wasn't really like that contrasting or bad. Well, like bad subjective, but like in comparison to the Japanese score there. But like, damn, it was rough. Especially like seeing so much hype around the show with its fans with the Japanese version. Like, if there was ever a point for TPCi to adopt like an official sub or release of the Japanese version overseas, it had to be XY. Like, that was their key point. If they had to make so many changes to the dub, whether it be for creative reasons or if they legit were having budget issues, which for the Pokemon company should not be a thing anyways, because they rake in so much money. But if they were gonna proceed all profits from just the anime towards the next seasons, which I mean, I guess it makes sense on a business standpoint. It's like they lost so much support, though. That's the thing. That's a key factor here. Because of how they handle the XY dub, they lost so many of the loyal viewership that they had gained over the years. People who had stayed from the 4Kids dub, who gave the TPCi dub, like people like me, we decided, you know what? No, it's not worth it anymore. We genuinely don't like watching this. Why should we support it? And that's partially what just led into more and more. Because, as you would know it, if this dub doesn't have as big of a fan base anymore, like it or not, the fans do make up a large portion of its revenue. It doesn't receive that revenue. It gets a smaller budget. It has to resort to more tactics to make back its money. Hence the royalties, right? With the music and everything going overseas. Not to mention, around this time, Pokemon Japanese music possibly became more expensive because it was acquired by Sony Music, which makes the situation even worse. Because not only do we have a dub that started getting rather unpopular and not raking in as much money as previous eras, but the music, like its assets that people wanted that would keep it in, was becoming more expensive. So already it was kind of on the brink of being kind of and then it probably just had no choice to do it. And again, a company like TPCi should be considering more about what consumers say they want, and should be a little more transparent about their practices. But just because of how Pokemon's seen as an international brand, well, there we go. You have these hordes of fans who do not like how the XY series was dubbed, and where our voices are going largely ignored, and it bleeds into the next series as well because it's handled in a very similar manner, but with even more budget constraints from the looks of it. But it does. The XY dub is a pivotal point as well because it really showed that TPCi, in some senses, what they really do not care about certain aspects, not so much about the creative parts, but what a lot of fans want. Again, even if the dub had to be changed so much, they could have appeased people by, at least considering something involving bringing the Japanese version over, right? But that just wasn't how it is. And maybe it's a mandate by the Pokemon company itself and not just TPCi, but where's the transparency? That's the big thing. Transparency became a very, very obvious thing that TPCi was not giving off during this era and everything after. And pretty much hence why, I don't think the XY series was dubbed well. Whether, you like the creative changes or not is a different story, because if you like how the final product was, then okay, yeah, there you go, that's your preference. But I don't think it's dubbed well because it doesn't preserve the intent of the artist's vision from back in Japan. That's the whole point of the dubbing, to translate it for a different audience, but still keep that provision intact. When you remove that, it's a different experience. That's why there's different. It's a broken base. There's fans of the Japanese version and fans of the dub. We don't see too many that are mixed in with both. But even then, for those people who do like both, there are very clear differences for them. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of interesting how this one series ended up breaking the base so much. And, it's just a shame that it had to be like this, because, like I said, with the black and white dub segment, had TPCi decided to hold back on going all out with the budget on the first season of Black and White and just kept the entire series to DP levels of music, had they actually done that and waited 3 years, done it with X and Y instead, we could have possibly seen the dub become very popular overseas, which means, more revenue for the dub, more reason for them to continue, more accurate practices. We could be in a completely different situation had TPCi decided to wait and start dubbing X and Y in a more accurate form than it did Black and White. But, that requires a lot of foresight. Obviously, they took the risk with Black and White, didn't work out, and that's having a lot of impact with what's happening nowadays, right? So, yeah, it's kind of rough, but it's just how it is. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate that it had to go down this way, and unfortunate that the company's practices have to be put into so much question as a result of this. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I know I've gone on a big ramble now, but like X and Y is definitely the big point where, a lot of us were like, really, TPCi? Really? If it wasn't, any decisions made before, it was definitely how X and Y was handled. But yeah, that's basically it. I sort of went off on a bit of a tangent there on not just the dub itself, but it does relate in the end, I think, and it's very important. And I guess I'll go a little bit more into it with the next segment.
I forgot one more thing with XY. Just one more. This is the first time I have ever heard made up gibberish words in the script and in the titles in the dub. I'm talking about Fashionista, Cutie Pie, and Transformathon.
God, you're killing my brain cells here.
Don't forget Scrumptious.
No, that's like Sun and Moon.
That's Sun and Moon.
And then we also have what was it? I'm trying to think. Dancicapades. That's the most stupid title I've heard in the whole dub. Party Dancicapades.
Oh, let's not forget Tamar.
Sorry?
When Sarah couldn't even, or whoever couldn't even bother to finish the word tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Party Dancicapades is probably one of the stupidest dub titles. It's right up there with getting the pre-contest titters for me.
From Don Rosalie, that was disgusting.
Pre-contest titters. Oh my.
That was back in Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah.
Diamond and Pearl.
That's when JCC scripting just took a dive.
Big time.
Not as bad as X-Y and Sun and Moon, but...
Yeah, now we're going to dive into the ocean.
Yeah, onto the catastrophe.
We're getting to Sun and Moon, so...
Yeah, Sun and Moon, a.k.a. the Agapio Digimon tier of the Pokemon dub.
It's just a never-ending downward spiral.
It just goes down further.
Despite all the music that they replaced in XYZ, I have not been watching it at all. I don't think they were just good choices at all. To even if you compose your own music, they did a poor job to even pick the right music for right moments. That's
Yeah, that goes on. Go.
Oh my God.
So about that opening theme.
Where better to start than the opening?
Yeah.
Under the Alolan sun.
Oh my God.
That's so bland.
I hope none of you like Alola, because you're going to be sorely disappointed.
29 seconds, everyone. That's how far we've fallen. 29 seconds.
Yeah.
And this is when it moved to Disney XD. Guess how long their other intros are? A minute.
Yeah. Yokai Watch has
Yokai Watch.
Beyblade Burst.
Even though it just got its cast change, it still keeps the Japanese music.
Yep.
I don't know if they do any music replacement.
So now that we're in Sun and Moon, okay, first of all, the intro is like something that belongs on a Nicktoons cartoon.
Yeah, something that would be like it would be a good opening for Dora.
Yeah.
Yep, the map, the map, the map.
No, I think I would actually sit through an episode of Dora than get through this.
And is it me or what's the singer's name? Janelle Candris.
Yeah.
Is she just like dead inside when she's singing it?
I think she is.
I would be too, to be honest with you. Even if I was like plastered at a bar with some of the hardest scotch at a karaoke stage, I would feel dead inside being forced to sing that on karaoke.
The lyrics are terrible, yeah. I mean,
it's horrible.
You're Ben Dixon and Sad Truth.
So,
yeah.
You know.
Isn't that sad truth?
And then they did the PPCi did the exact same thing with Sun and Moon.
With XY, yeah.
Sun and Moon, what?
The preview episodes, they left the music alone and back and put it again in the re-airing.
And the previews, again, you're going to hear me say this a lot. Sarah Nachenny actually sounded like she improved slightly again.
And before we go back down again when the actual season starts.
Yep.
It really makes me question the production of the actual episodes and how quickly they have to go through it. Like, okay, one take, let's go. Right, next actor.
And then Sun and Moon episode 1 was the very last time we...
The very last time what?
Last time we would hear Casey Rogers. As
now Mr. Mime's voice actress is gone.
Yeah.
So, and Wobba Fett.
Yeah, and...
Casey did Wobba Fett?
Yeah, Casey
so that's why they got rid of the Wobba Fett whole scene.
I can do Wobba Fett.
That's why they got rid of Wobba Fett.
Yeah, Wobba Fett. Yeah, Casey had been voicing Wobba Fett since Johto.
Yeah, since mid Johto, right? Tricks of the Trade.
Early Tricks of the Trade, near the end of the first season.
Yeah, end of season 3. Yeah.
Wow. And she'd been voicing Mr. Mime since late Kanto.
Yeah, since then
season
Mr.
2.
Mime Timer, yeah.
Early season 2.
Early season 2, yeah. So we lost Wobba Fett and Mr. Mime now. So
not been a good Ash Casey, but you know what? You did some. Come on, peace.
Yeah,
right. I like.
Totodile was good. Totodile was good. Totodile, Cyndaquil.
Most of Casey's Pokemon voices were good.
Yeah, Totodile was good. Cyndaquil was good. Axew, Lotad. I'm trying to think of.
She was Tailo. I think she was Tailo.
Yeah, Tailo. She was good as Tailo. That was good. Pelipper. I noticed her when she left. Pelipper sounds awful now. Have you heard the TPCi Pelipper?
I have not.
Pelipper's voice in Sun and Moon
is what?
Horrible.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Casey's Pelipper was better.
Back in home, was better than this.
Then let's talk about the new characters.
Mallow, Lily, and who again? Lana,
Kiawe, Samson Oak, Kukui.
The girls are all horrible.
Lily
is the worst. Lily is the worst. Like, she sounds like a 30-year-old housewife. I'm sorry that's not to be me rude.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those cases. It's nothing against the actors, but they're either miscast or the direction is awful.
Yeah, and I'm
no, May. I said May sounded like a noble whore. I think Lily sounds even more like a...
More like you always caught off at that last word. What was that?
Noble whore.
Oh, a noble whore. Oh.
It really does not fit.
Trying to censor you.
It really does not fit, yeah. And
but yeah, it does not.
Lana sounds like a baby.
She sounds like she has a cold like James. That's what I have to say.
She caught it from James.
I dare ask what happened in the Drampa episode where she was even younger then.
Connor, which
Mallow's miscast.
Which James did she cut a cold from? James from Team Rocket or James Cathcart?
Why not both?
At the recording studio and
James.
Because there's only one James, and that was the only James that did James.
Yeah. Mallow.
Unfortunately, he's not the best. So, and
Mallow
he did not prove it in time.
Mallow was just simply miscast.
Yeah, and it's like what Oshawott said. Tommy said she was good in as Kid Summer's movie 8, and here she sounds like not as old as Lily, but still like 20, 25-ish, and and like she has a weird accent sometimes. It's just not. It's not good. The Mallow is not very good.
Kukui to me is fine. It's just the acting needs to be improved.
Yeah.
The
voice
I'd say
is
that for
fine,
Kukui
but-
and Kiawe.
Yeah,
Kiawe kind of tries at least. I'll give him that, but
but
the voice direction kind of hurts.
Yeah.
Sophocles is good.
Yeah, Sophocles is good.
It's fine. Yeah, I'll give Elson that.
Yeah,
who is the orange-haired pudgy kid?
Sophocles.
That's Sophocles.
Okay.
Yeah,
oh,
with
Rotom Dex.
Kiawe,
Oh my god.
Oh, Samson.
Oh, we can all talk about Rotom Dex.
Are we gonna skip Samson Oak?
Yeah, let's do Samson. My problem with let's talk about Kukui. The voice actors, his voice fits. The acting is a little dull at times. Not as dull as Kiawe though. Kiawe sounds.
It's ironic that Kukui of all people would be dull. He's supposed to be energetic.
Yeah, and that's not his fault, but the direction is that they're making some monotone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's totally Lisa Ortiz.
Yeah, and Kiawe is even more. At least Kukui acts sometimes. Kiawe is just. I don't know. Mark Swint is just like sounding bored all the time. It's Probopass. So it as a backup. That's what he sounds like. It's like he's bored. Wake up, man.
Samson Oak. Well, at least it wasn't JCC.
Yeah, my thing is
they actually didn't get JCC for Samson Oak because I haven't seen any of the episodes with him.
Thank God.
Wow, I can't believe we were spared.
Samson is voiced by Mark Thompson.
But they couldn't give the role to Stuart Sagnet. Come on.
He sounds piratey. He sounds piratey at times.
Yeah.
It's not horrible. It's at least better.
Samson sounds like a reject from the kids' One Piece.
Yeah, he does. He really does. Like a go ho ho, like that kind of.
Go ho.
Like rejected.
Go ho, it took a bite of gum gum.
Rotom.
Rotom. Here's the thing. I actually don't mind Rotom Dex's voice. I actually think it's kind of cute. However, I don't like it when they artificially pitch his voice up when he's all excited and screaming.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah,
that's really what hurts it. And I mean, he's excited and such a lot. So
is it just me, or was Roger Callagy better Rotom at the start when they didn't pitch up his voice all the time?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then now it's worse. Yeah, now it's way worse. They're like, they're the same. No, they squeaks and cracks all the time now. I don't know why they.
It sucks because I actually like Rotom Dex, but of course they have to make him not. I'm one of the few people on this earth that likes Rotom Dex.
I think Rotom Dex is adorable.
Yeah. Roger Callagy was actually okay at first. It's just they keep pitching it up and it sounds awful now because they keep artificially pitching his voice up.
It's all squeaking and
God.
And
I don't know if that's the voice direction. That's just sound editing.
It's like they're putting a magnet up to him constantly.
Or is that just the sound editing for the pitching?
It's like
both, kind of both.
It's like we've got to Saber.
It's exactly that. Like
they're
the same. It's like and I mean, oh god, there was this one time Rotom's voice cracked 6 times. I swear, I was.
Was
of
that
course.
the open house episode?
Needless to say that Roger Callagy does make a very good Rowlet.
He's good at him, on the other hand. Yeah, Rowlet is actually very close to Japanese, so I'll give it.
Yeah.
That was good. Popplio I don't like.
No.
What about
I was hoping for an adorable Popplio. I really was.
He sounds like a tired grandmother.
Popplio is great.
Which one, sorry?
The Japanese
Yeah.
Ashimati is great.
Yeah. Popplio
I mean,
just.
that's Ashimati is voiced by the legendary Rikako.
Aikaba, Butterfree, right?
Yeah, Butterfree, Squirtle, Psyduck, a lot of different Pokemon.
What about Lily's brother?
Gladion sounds okay.
Gladion's voice is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine.
Like,
the Japanese one's fine, 2D, so the English
kind of a little edgy.
Yeah.
Gladion's voice is fine. What's not fine is that they decided to overdub Silvally and make him sound like an actual dog.
Oh God, like it.
Yeah,
oh my God.
So Valley could have easily kept his Japanese.
Yeah, his Japanese voice was fine, but no, make him sound like a generic dog.
Lycanroc, that voice.
Lycanroc is hideous.
I actually don't know his English dub, but I don't think I've heard it.
Well, it depends on which Lycanroc we're talking about.
The dusk form.
Ashes, yeah.
Did they actually get worse than Midnight?
No, the Midnight was the worst. I'm talking about the Midnight.
Okay. And that was like, I don't think it was worse than Midnight.
No, Midnight is what I'm talking about. They just gave Barion's just a really bad voice. The guy is his Lycanroc, the Midnight form, Lycanroc, like that, like really deep and gruff. It was not good.
It was just generic and.
Also, I want to say that Hala's voice is actually not too bad either. I think
Hala's
Kahuna sounds
right?
kind of fits. Yeah,
his is okay. His is decent.
Who?
Yeah.
Hala. Yeah, Hala.
The first Grand Kahuna.
Yeah, Hala. He's fine.
Yeah, actually, the problem was more Goldfarb because he put in goofy themes.
Is it time to talk about Batman?
It's about time for Batman. I like to call it Birthday, because it also has a resemblance to the opening riff of the Beatles song of the same name.
Batman time.
I swear this has been spammed. I'm serious. Like 130 plus times in all the seasons.
Before we get into
this whole season?
Before we get to Batman, I need to address the new voice of Wobbuffet is terrible.
Yeah, Erica is not good as
Erica Schroeder.
I don't know what happened. She was good.
I actually haven't heard the new Wobbuffet voice.
It sounds like
it's a knockoff of KZ.
It sounds like it has a cold. Is it me? It sounds like it has a cold now.
Why does everyone have a cold in this show?
James has it. Misty has it now.
Washing aspirin.
Because the show is contagious.
It's because DuArt doesn't clean.
Yeah, it's like what? It's like a lot of characters sound like Frieza.
Like a Quasar?
No, Linda Young's Frieza.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, the show is contagious. Keep away. Don't watch a show or you'll catch it like us and become an elitist. I'm sorry.
Don't put it next to any other show.
That was me.
It'll get worse.
And nowadays,
you'll catch cold, everyone. Remember from the XY dub?
XY and movie 20. They said it in movie 20 too.
You'll catch cold again?
They actually did it twice.
Oh my god.
They had to.
God.
Come on now.
Strike me down.
Yeah, it's getting to the point now where the Pokemon voices they'll keep are Pikachu and Charizard. That's it.
Yeah, this is the first time that a non-Pikachu voice has had the electric rap.
However, they did keep Alola and Raichu's voice.
Right, but that's in a filler and we'll never see it again. So.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about the censoring part soon?
Sure, I'm gonna get to the music first.
We're about to get to Batman.
Yeah, let's get to Batman.
Other than that.
Laundry.
On the laundry circus team.
No, nanny, that one. Laundry. And then there's a circus, which is in the totem battles.
Batman's my favorite.
Oh my god.
Remember the JPR linked to it. I'll put the clips of it. In the totem battles circles.
Yeah, the Tom and Jerry theme. Yeah.
Elevator. Because that's the greatest fitting battle theme.
There's either elevator and then there's elevator.
Batman.
Because you stand an elevator and you're generic elevator music. It really is elevator music.
Yeah, they play that a lot during the school scenes.
Yeah, elevator, Batman, laundry, circus.
I mean, to be fair, being at school can feel like being in an elevator. So maybe that's what he was going for.
Yeah, but the school is full of stairs, though. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, Donkey Kong. Like there's a reject Donkey Kong theme he has too.
Yeah, it's
yes, I
just
remember that.
bad.
It is bad all around.
And Misty,
then there's the
he
chase
made a thing
music.
for Misty. That's really weird. Really, superstar-like. Like, what's the why?
Yeah.
And reject.
And then, I forgot another really bad voice. Beware.
The where?
Oh gosh, I forgot.
The screaming.
Yeah.
Too squeaky. Yeah. When she has to scream. Too much
Beware. Beware. Courtesy of Michelle Knopf.
But then we got.
Yeah, sometimes the mics keep getting cut off, but let's see if you can hear me. Tell me about this one video I saw on Twitter about when they called the potions lotions.
Lotion time.
A bag of lotion.
Lotion time.
Oh my.
Get those lotions ready for your 3DSs, boys.
Oh my.
Now we're really getting into the deep end.
Yep.
I have a lot to say about these little changes.
First, I just want to know, how does one look at a script and say, yep, this is what it's supposed to say? I'm betting you. I know, let me look at it. Yeah, you see? The L key is right below P. I'm betting you Jason Carver, when typing it, that's all he did. And he never got fixed. There's a typo, but it never got fixed.
But he only said lotions once. They only said lotions once, right?
They said it twice. Yeah. They said it twice.
Okay, so how does that happen twice? They're like,
and
maybe
the icon was on the screen. The icon was on the screen twice. I swear I'm not kidding. Yeah. Increase the comments are stupid. I know it's there.
That happened somehow.
Did they not know the info like from the games?
They should have some. If they had so much as one of their stupid official guidebooks laying around, which yes, probably do have mistakes too, I think they would at least fix a few problems.
Yeah. For at least like, I don't know, iTunes or DVD releases.
I don't know, have Sarah be open at the very least.
Yeah.
Scrumpy.
And then
Oh yeah, and then we have Scrumpy in this.
Jesse's favorite made-up word lately.
Down the hatch!
Ash's favorite. How did they translate thanks for the food to down the hatch? What?
Because we're trying to sound hip to the kids, because saying thanks isn't cool enough.
Now, Maddie Blossines did say that down the hatch, but she made it work better than...
Yeah, and it wasn't constant.
Yeah,
not every character said it every random...
Thanks for the
even
food.
Mallow and Lana said it in that Grandpa filler. All three of them said down the hatch. And Ash said down the hatch 3 times in the episode where they got stuck in the
That's
hall.
become like his new catchphrase in the show, apparently.
It has.
Yeah, Ash. Meowth only said it once in the 4 games.
All Ash does is eat, so we have to make his catchphrase down the hatch.
Do you think maybe Maddie regrets saying that line now?
Well, it's Tommy's saying, so it's not like it's her fault.
Yeah,
of course not. But if she were alive and to know this, then she would say it. I regret saying that catchphrase now.
But at least it wasn't spammed like multiple times in episodes, and it wasn't. I swear that there's another one. Hold on, there's a Scrumpy and look. There's one more made-up word that I gotta go. I'll let you guys know when you can keep going. I'll let you know.
I want to say one thing though. I do not know what was the decision making into adding Meow's dig line into the motto. Because that really ruined it.
That was dumb. That was
easily Cathcart.
Yeah, that was definitely Cathcart. Well, Meow slide. That's stupid. That's stupid. Just stupid.
I guess we should get to the 1,000th episode where they changed the glasses from one glass.
Hold on. We gotta address the elephant in the room first. The Misty and Brock episodes.
No.
You say elephant in the room, but I'm just like, how we have so many elephants in the room we can.
I think that's the big one. That's the big one.
It's the return of
Brock. I was not happy with that at all. I was not happy with that at all. Personally, I thought it was 100 times better. 100 times better. And first of all, they replaced more music than Forgus did the whole.
Yeah.
However, I do think.
And
I'll give Bill Rogers this. he sounded a lot better as Brock in that two-parter than he did for the majority of DP.
I didn't really. I mean, I guess, but he still sounded a little too old when he was like grunting or growling when he went to flirt. Yeah.
But
Who's
still better than
Firework?
Yeah, that was too old. Like when he has to scream or some flirt, it's just not as good as Eric Stewart.
Still not as
he's
good
not
as Eric
okay
Stewart.
otherwise,
Still
but
better than most of DP.
And then TPCi didn't even call him when the episode aired.
Yeah, and then Misty sounds nasally now. I don't know.
I don't. You know, I may be the only one who thinks this, but I thought Michelle's Misty didn't sound all that bad.
I think it could have been better. I think it could have been better.
Compared Misty sounded fine.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, that's,
but the
yeah, I
thing
can
is,
agree with that.
we went from her being a pretty, like, actually somewhat decent sound-alike for Misty to...
impression to this.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
That was... It's clear she was rusty
also,
on it, but...
Yeah, but then again, Misty barely shows up, so I can give her that.
Yeah, I can get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's very true.
We can say that episode 43, the season finale for best episode of the season musically, because it kept, I think, over 40% of music.
Yeah, and as we were talking about earlier,
that's only 5 pieces. Yeah.
But even then, we were talking about this with XY. It actually kept some of the music from the Hoopa movie, which they never used for the actual movie. So they do have the license for this music, but they're not using it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like honestly, Bill Rogers sounded better in the first episode than the second episode. I don't know, because when he was growling, they don't call me Brock the Rock for nothing, going back to the DP voice. But that's just me. The flirting scenes, he's just honestly, Bill Rogers is not as good as Eric Stewart. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe he's okay, but he's not as good. And Rachel Lewis was a better Misty than Michelle was. That's all I gotta say.
So now, season 21, Under the Alolan Moon.
Hooray! A Beyonce ripoff.
Yeah, this is probably the worst.
I think it's more of a. I think it's off than Beyonce.
Yeah.
Featuring Kanye West as well.
So we got to get into the new characters here: Faba, Lusamine, Wick, and Burnett.
Yeah, Faba, I don't think it's terrible, but he sounds a bit too, like, I don't know how to describe it, like, flat.
Bland.
Yeah, bland is the word, yeah. It doesn't really sound like like this is a voice you want to hear Mad Scientist, I think.
Faba to me sounds like generic villain.
Yeah, that's what I have to say, yeah.
Lusamine, I think, is alright.
I think Lusamine's a bit, like, a little deep, but they could have done worse, I guess.
Like,
but
it could have. I agree.
Honestly, you could swap Lily and Lusamine's voices. Fit them.
And that would have been better. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually how they should have been. But
that's actually very ironic.
Yeah.
I thought Wick's voice was.
Sorry, Wick's voice was
fine.
Yeah, I think it was better than Mallow's, but I think it's like what's weird is Wick sounds a little young sometimes.
I mean, yeah, you could again swap Wick and Mallow and fine.
Yeah, and it's the same VA. Like, I mean,
there's just a lot of weird miscasting going on here.
Yeah, and
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Burnett, I don't mind too much.
It's okay. It's a little raspy, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
compared to Lily, Lana, and Mallow, her voice is fine.
Why is it always our mains that are so horrible?
I know.
I always want to know.
Right? Yeah, and the main characters have to sound the worst. But,
except these are the guys we're stuck with, and you get the worst, setups with it. Really?
Yeah, and Psyduck is not very good in TPCi. We heard that.
So the only main character that's probably the best that has ever done well is Dawn.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I think Dawn, Iris, and Silent were their best voices over the years.
Yeah, and then I thought, Michelle is Jigglypuff. I don't think she's that.
That was actually closer than Jessie, Misty, or in these later years.
In fact, it's close enough that when I got my Jigglypuff Build-A-Bear, I actually put the sound clip in on that one.
Yeah, it's actually that's her best impression, and right now that's a Pokemon song.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, that's disappointing, but I mean, that goes back to Lisa Ortiz's voice direction is not
And now we should talk about the big problem of season 21. All the ones and twos.
You mean episode 1000?
No.
That's a 1-2. That's actually okay. So let's actually in the general.
Let's look at that percentage.
Okay, so
isn't it? If I remember right, there's like 5.
Yeah, 5 ones back to back. Right, that's what you're saying. Yeah, there are. Yeah, I'll check the music list. I also found Made Up Word, so I'll get to that. That's from this season, so good thing I didn't mention it yet. Okay, first of all, let's just you guys already mentioned Alola Moon. Can I just say this is a bad dub opening? Honestly, what do you guys think?
Horrible.
It's really terrible. Yeah.
It's 28 seconds. This is a new low for even in length. It's
like the shortest, most painful. Like it's short, but it's painful. So
obviously it's trying to capitalize on kids.
It's like a shot.
How like the hip hop trap music kind of like fans and just like how you see most like cartoon like themes being like remixed like this. It's like
I'll say this: the Korean Sun and Moon opening is better.
I agree, and then that's a rap, isn't it? That's a rap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't think it. I mean, did we cover the one glass change?
We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to them. Let me just add to that.
I thought you said that was a rap. I thought that was it.
No. Okay, so let's get to the music first, and I'll save the made up word for. There's one more made up word now this season, but
okay.
So the season starts off. Okay, honestly, they got really lucky with 43 because there were only 12 pieces in Japanese. That's why that kept 40%, and even then, that's worse than 4Kids AG episodes at their peak.
They only kept in that one. They only kept the titles.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the first one is a 2, and the first reunion episode is a 2, and there's tons like 8 Batman spam there. So thanks, GGG.
And then 44, I believe, is just the title screen and Team Rocket's motto.
Right. Yeah. I'm just checking the number. Okay. So first, that's season. So there are 8. There are 8 episodes that only keep one piece of Japanese music. 8.
Wow.
So we're at this point, and the episode that keeps the most Japanese music is the one that Tommy mentioned. That's only 41%. For God's sakes, every season 4Kids have had higher than that.
Yeah, and it was the first episode that kept over 40% of the music since 2012.
Which is pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and wow, and the rest of the season is abysmal. So on music, it's just
when we get episodes like that, we shouldn't be surprised. But 41 should be like a low, but here it is. It is now a high.
And it's only 5 pieces. I mean, honestly, 4Kids kept at that was 4Kids average in most of the generation is 5 pieces kept.
Mm-hmm.
So they got lucky because there was only 12 pieces in Japanese and 43.
Mm-hmm. The music is very generic at this. It's just super, super generic. And what really made me mad is just how they just took away like Gladium's theme. They took away the Ultra Beast battle theme. They took away Miyazaki did a lot of new game pieces. He even did the champion tower defense and all that. I could list a lot, but just the fact that they're not acknowledging that there's like game like themes that go well with like what's going on with the anime, the sort of Gladium's battle theme.
What's so sad is that they don't release this music in Japan.
So we can't fix this.
No way for us to get it at all.
Yeah, Tommy can't even fix the episode. They're stuck with GGG. So the anime gets
I have to go into the Japanese.
Japanese version,
But I can understand,
it's like,
they do a big collection with, black and white XY Sun and Moon music. They kind of like did the past soundtrack.
So I'll get to this season on the music now. Okay, so Tommy already told you guys, the vast majority of the episodes are 1s and 2s. And we have the band episode, which Antoine will get into now. Again, because I didn't get to record that, so he would say it again today. But there are 10, and we're not even done with the season. There are 10 episodes that only keep one piece of Japanese. This is double.
I don't even think we're halfway through.
No, we aren't. Yeah,
we're not.
And this is 10, and this is double the amount the entire 4Kids dub had in 8 years. I'm not even kidding. This is crazy. There are 10 in this one season. And then the one that has the highest amount kept is Smashing with Sketch, and that's 18%. 18%. And that's
high.
That's in the season.
You know, it's sad when 18% is considered good.
Yeah.
And the overall season, this is the worst keeping Japanese music ever. Season 21. This is the worst of the worst. 9.2% kept. Only 1.74 pieces of Japanese music.
We're not even done with this season either. The only way we could raise it at this point is if like the last half have like 100%, but that is not happening.
Yeah, I think 100% left the TPCi dub after season 14. That was the last time.
Compared to XY, how much?
It's less than. I'll give you an idea. Original series in the anime kept the most on averaging all 5 seasons. I'm averaging each saga, not each season. So OS had the most in the anime. I'm only talking about anime, not the movies. OS had the most. I saved this chart. The thing, Philippe and I made this chart. I'm gonna take it out right now. Okay, 56.7% of the original series. Advanced Generation 4Kids was 26%. Advanced Generation TPCi was also 26%. DP was 41%. BW was 49%, because remember, I'm adding in season 15 and 16.
What was that? I couldn't hear black and white.
49%.
Yes.
Yeah.
XY is 17%, so we're below AG by XY. And Sun and Moon were below XY, 12%.
Jeez.
And then numbers are going to keep going down.
And the movies are completely different.
I'm calling it now. When we get to Gen 8, there will be no Japanese music at all.
I would not be surprised.
Which at least will be consistent. If you're going to do a dub score, do a complete dub score.
I can agree, because
which is what Saban did with Digimon.
And what Saban did with Dragon Ball Z, and what 4K Media does with Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Use one or the other. I mean, the 4Kids, they did an excellent job blending their music with the original music. And they kept a lot of Japanese music.
Yeah, but TPCi is so lazy to not add dual audio releases or uncut releases, but including
even 4K Media does that for Yu-Gi-Oh!
They could just throw a Japanese option on Crunchyroll, and I'm sure that would get an audience, especially with the state of the dub.
I would shut up, honestly.
But no, TPCi doesn't want people. TPCi pretty much wants people to pirate the Japanese version.
At this point, yeah.
Which is disappointing to me. That they don't want to acknowledge that it exists.
I'll tell you guys, the episode that keeps the highest number of pieces is in this season. We're already 20 plus episodes in. It keeps 3.9 pieces. Mm-hmm. And everything else is 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. I'm just reading the list. And the only other one that even keeps almost 4 is Smashing the Sketch. That's 3.75.
And
this is worse than anything 4Kids did in the main series. This is worse than anything they did before.
I don't know how we got to this point with the dub. I mean, I want to like this dub because there are times, like I compared it. There are times where script-wise, they're almost verbatim. They're almost verbatim with some scripts.
And then they go back to rewriting them. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why.
It's just it boggles my mind. I mean.
It's disappointing.
Okay, let's go back to it. Let's go to another Dragon Ball dub. Dragon Ball Super. People brag on that dub right now. They make meta jokes. They have what's his name saying I came back from home for the losers. They have hits saying time to make the donuts.
And the Dragon Ball fans are up in arms about this.
I mean, yeah, it's a corny line, but that's nothing compared to what the Pokemon dub comes up with.
And when people were freaking out about it on cons, I was stepping in, and I was like, you think this is bad? Watch the dubs of Pokemon XY or Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
If you want bad.
It's truly like among the bottom of the barrel, and somehow people are like, well, at least it's not 4Kids.
And it's worse than 4Kids now.
It is. They've done everything 4Kids has done and worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The music. This is 9.2%. This is half of 4Kids' worst season on keeping Japanese music. We're at this point. This is where TPCi is.
That their worst season being Advanced Battle.
Yeah, and that's still 20%. This is 9.2%.
Yeah.
And even then, in advance, they would leave the music alone in the movies and the Pikachu shorts. Now they don't do that. So we get
movies! Movies! In the room that we have not talked.
I thought we were doing the 1,000th, and then we.
Yeah, we got. But
no. Wait, hang on. They replaced the wedding march.
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm not kidding.
What the fuck?
Goldfarb made his own wedding theme with xylophones. I'm serious.
Hey, xylophones replace everything. If it can replace Gladion's theme, why couldn't it replace marriage?
If you're worried about the recording being copyrighted, then just use a public domain version of it. Don't replace it with your own freaking composition.
I mean, yeah, we laugh about it being like a stock, public domain version, but God, it wouldn't be Goldfarb.
Did they really replace the wedding theme?
Yeah, they did.
It's all about consistency.
With xylophone.
They replaced, correct me if I'm wrong, Mendelssohn's Wedding March. Pretty sure Mendelssohn composed it.
Well, Miyazaki's version of that. Yeah, they replaced it.
So they didn't just change the wine glasses?
No, they changed all the music except the title card. They changed all the music except the title card.
Okay, let's talk about wine glass thing. Like I said, 4Kids changed it before, but they only moved them. So to wine drinker, that's like myself, it's like okay, that's still wine.
Yeah, and 4Kids kept the wine cup.
Episode 55, which aired in the US only a month and a half ago, also removed alcohol similarities, this time to the glasses that Professor Kukui and Professor Burnett are drinking from. Due to resembling wine glasses, the Western version changed them to regular glasses and also made the liquid inside look more like orange juice.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we concerned about wine glasses? Kids have seen wine glasses. Their parents have them. They get dragged to weddings and they see them. It's not a big deal.
For God's sake.
Orange juice glasses, guys. Orange juice glasses.
I mean, for God's sake, it's wine. It's not liquor. It's not even beer. I can understand beer. Beer's a bit more attractive, but it's classy. It's wine. Now,
you have Christian children that have to get the wine at church. Kids know what wine is. It's not the end of the world.
I don't know if that's a Disney XD problem, because I'm pretty sure Gravity scene with Grunkle saying with a wine glass. Like, what?
Yeah.
Well,
4Kids kept the wine cups in Hoenn.
Yeah.
I'm reminding you, this is where we are.
Bottoms up!
Well, team, here's to cornering the market on baby Pokemon and finding an underground spring in the basement of our base tub boots.
I'll drink to that.
Here's the thing.
And Hoenn was infamous for paint
edits, and they kept the
here's the thing with some of the paint edits that are being made for Sun and Moon. Some of these edits are being shown in the Asian dubs too.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know if they're ordering them. Glitter Vomit got cut out. Speaking of that, let's just bring up all the edits of Glitter Vomit.
If we make Ash's catchphrase down the hash, we can't have it coming up the hash either.
Now, my personal opinion. Now, you can give kids orange juice if you want, but the adults should have the wine glasses. If they care that much about.
I think even when I was 4, I knew that what wine was, even though I didn't. I think a lot of people. That's in a different episode. No,
hang on. They don't give him green acid. They give him ecto cooler. Get it right.
Ectoplasm.
I'm sorry, ecto cooler.
I missed that drink.
Or abs in the.
Connor was going on about the wine glass change. Go ahead, Connor.
I said my piece. I said my piece. I feel like it's ridiculous. Feels ridiculous that. Okay, let's first off bring this up. 4Kids left in wine glasses at some points when it was airing on broadcast television.
They left them all in Hoenn. In Hoenn.
Where the FCC left. It was in charge, and I'm pretty sure the FCC would have had some strict regulations about about what's on kids' television.
Yeah.
This is cable. This is freaking cable. I mean, I know it's like a big mouse, you need to be cute, family friendly, but as someone said, as Antoine mentioned before, Gravity Falls, Show 'em a Network, kept for wine glasses.
Yeah. If they can do it, why can't we do it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot to let's just mention the other 2 edits that TPCi made in Sun and Moon, and even 4Kids let this go uncensored in the Indigo League, the Kanto dub. First of all, Meowth drowning was left. That was left intact. 4Kids didn't even edit it in Pokemon Shipwreck, I think. Right?
Yeah, Shipwreck.
Yeah, ridiculous that is censored now. Now TVCi censored it. I can't even make this up. And then
I mean, even the episode before that had basically all of Team Rocket had drowned, and they were they were choking to death underwater.
Right. And now that's censored.
Let me remind you, this aired on in the
Broadcast TV.
afternoons.
Yeah, it did.
On Broadcast TV, on Fox, on your WBs, on UP.
Yeah, UPN, yeah.
I mean, this is also the first thing they showed in Pokemon for a preview.
Wow.
So and the soul, Jolteon mentioned the Wobbuffet's soul coming out of his body. How come 4Kids could let Ash's soul come out of his body in the Tower of Terror? I want an explanation. Why TPCi thinks that's okay to censor now? Or TPC Asia? What?
Wait. Is this the banned episode?
No, we'll get to that. Anton will get to that. They can't let Wobbuffet's soul come out of his body in the Sun and Moon. And 4Kids let Ash's soul be taken out of his body by Haunter in the Tower of Terror back in the Kanto.
To be fair, that episode was temporarily banned, but only for the name itself.
Yeah,
and for completely different reasons.
Yeah, I have dub of it actually on VHS. No kidding. Tower of Terror. It's called Psychic Sunrise. The VHS. Yeah,
like that.
Ridiculous. We're at this point. I'm just.
Yeah, we're getting to that point now. We can talk about.
Yeah, and then the kanji got edited out.
Still. Oh, and don't forget the Z move text, which we didn't even bother to replace, even though it's actually an important part.
Just leave it blank because that's the easy and lazy way to do it. Okay, do you want the made-up word now and then we get to the band episode? Then we'll get to I Choose You.
Yeah, let's get to the word.
Okay, so the made-up word besides Scrumpty, Honeylicious.
Honeylicious. Omnilicious.
Honeylicious.
Oh God.
That's in a recent episode too.
Who said that?
Jesse, James, and Meowth.
Oh my gosh.
That's a new low.
Honeylicious. Wow.
I mean, that's such a 9-year-old say. Maybe less than that. Something Bonnie would say that's so childish.
I mean, they had
it's like, yes, it's a show for kids, but come on. It's just JCC's writing getting all the scripts.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna make up for it with this. It's just continuing. It's sad. It is. So let's get Antoine. You're best at describing the censored episode. So not the band episode. My bad.
Yeah.
There's lots of censorship.
What is that? Tell me what that's about. That's new.
Episode 64 of Pokemon Sun and Moon, which originally aired in Japan March 1st, 2018, will not be broadcast in English, and the schedule will instead jump straight to the next episode. The decision has been made due to a large part of the episode revolving around Ash wearing dark face paint to disguise himself as a Persimmon. Like Jinx, it appears that there was some concern that this could invoke racist imagery, and so English fans will no longer be able to see this episode. This marks the first time for an episode to not be dubbed in English in nearly 9 years, with all other Japanese dubbed main episodes making their way westward. But
the Persimmon episode, they banned it because 64 Sun and Moon 64. They banned it apparently because Ash looks like blackface. I'm not making this up. This is on Bulbapedia. I'm serious.
Black? You mean his skin turned black?
They paint his face.
Like stereotype blackface. Yeah, Lily paints his face back, and then
Lily paints his face. What was the plot about?
It's just a filler where Ash tries to get.
Yeah, it's a filler, and Ash dresses up as a Persimmon at one point in the episode.
and they banned it because
like all of Ultra Sun and Moon.
So they banned it because of racial relations.
Yes,
that's
which
correct.
We have had this history before with Jinx.
With Jinx, yeah, and I'm surprised TPCi banned episodes 4 kids done with Jinx. Now, in like 2014, I read this on a Bulbapedia. What? I mean, they could just recolor. What they could have done is just recolored Ash's face blue or something. They
could have just cut out the paint scene and just had his face normal colored because he's already dressed as a Passimian, so it's like it could have just passed fine.
Or they could have just made his face blue.
I think even 4kids would have done that. I don't think they would have banned this.
Yeah, 4kids would have dubbed the episode, no problem. They would have just censored the face.
Yeah, would have just changed it
blue, like Mr. Popo.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm.
Yeah,
we would have at least gotten the episode. It still would have been dumb.
God forbid we put any effort and have to spend any money on anything.
It seems TPCi doesn't know how to set their standards.
No, not
I think they're just. I honestly, to sum up the Sun and Moon stuff so far, this is, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, but you guys can let me know what you think. This is the all-time lowest point for the Pokemon dub.
No,
They don't know their standards.
It's all over the place.
I think this is the worst it's been. I think this is the worst it's been to date.
Now, on the Passimian episode, to be fair, I think the Japanese branch is also responsible because, one, they should have learned from the whole Jinx situation because we even have virtual console games getting paint edited for Jinx.
Right.
And, they had to deal with it. And two, they should have communicated with the international branch, but the international branch should have also kept contact with Japanese branch and, said, hey, this isn't okay in our culture. You might want to change this before you air it. But I guess asking for communication between branches wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it's absolutely...
there's laziness on both sides, both TPC fans.
It's the fault of both TPCJ and TPCi.
Agreed, both TPCJ and TPCi.
I just want to know their priorities here. So we'll ask OEM to change wine glasses, orange glasses, but God forbid they change the skin tone of Ash.
Yeah, ridiculous. I don't get it either.
Too much work. Can't do that.
Speaking of that, I was just gonna get to one more thing before we go to the I Choose You dub. I've noticed this, and this is disappointing. I mentioned this yesterday, but in their later years, one good thing I can say about 4kids in terms of scripting is they would at least let God, heaven, and death references, like even in earlier season, death would be allowed to slide. So, in Johto, they would let Brock and some COT in the Lugia filler reference God, and then heaven too. And Winona would say it in the whole end of heaven. And then death would be referenced, and this is 4kids. They didn't do anything to cover up death in Pokemon most of the time. They at least say gone or something, even when they did. But May and Hoenn said, "I'd just rather die" in that Cacturn for the Horus, which is Hoenn episode. And in the Kalos episode, in the XY era dub episode, I said Lapras is going downhill fast.
I'll just die!
Mama shot.
Lapras is going downhill fast.
Pika.
Whereas in Japanese, he said it could die. So TPCi is censoring death now.
Again, can't say death. This was in the Giratina movie as well, and it's been throughout it, really.
I can't believe it at this point. Yeah. And Ash in the Lucario movie said, if I leave the trees and animals here, they could die or something like that.
Yeah, and like when Lucario's dying,
we can't say animals
Ash
die.
straight up begs, Lucario, don't die.
Yeah, and Celebi, he said in the movie 4, he said, Celebi, you can't die. He literally said that.
In movie 5, Latios died to protect the city. Said it straight up.
Yeah, he said, if I leave here, then all the trees and animals will die or something. In movie 8, now we can't say die. Really? I mean, and God is out of the question now too because it's religious. They had Bonnie tried to say, please God, let Serena win or something in Japanese. They changed it to some random joke. They got rid of the God reference. Got rid of the heaven reference too and different. So now we're having a phobia of God, heaven, and death. And even 4kids didn't have as much of a phobia of it, which is in the script.
Saban didn't even have that problem with the Digimon dub. For the most part. Because they they changed Holy Angemon to Magna Angemon. They let and Holy Arrow to Celestial Arrow, but they let Angelomon say Heaven's Charm.
I mean, hell, they even added in before episodes back in the day. I mean, remember DBZ from Piccolo said, "Remember the story of David and Goliath?" Or Brock saying, "I remember the story of Noah."
Yeah, battle references and stuff. Yeah, I remember that from Pokemon Super. Yeah, they let them say that. Now that's probably good. Anything that's religious or has to do with that, TPCi is not really allowing in the scripts now. It's just
they want to play it safe, and I mean, yes, I understand that for a children's show, but I mean, you can get around it in some ways, and at least kind of work with it in others. You don't have to always completely get rid of every single reference.
Yeah, hell, even 4Kids got a.
Yeah, I mean, even 4Kids got over their fear of God and heaven. That guy in the Hoenn episode, "I'm a fishing god," he keeps saying it over and over again.
Yeah.
That Miscatch episode. Yeah, and now they can't say that.
Yeah, and I don't remember soccer moms getting mad about that back in Hoenn.
And that was on Kids WB, and Kids WB was forcing 4Kids to make some the Bad Kids edits and sometimes, and even 4Kids didn't. And now, I don't even know how we're at this point. Honestly, it's just disappointing.
It really is just disappointing.
TPCi's actions are just disgraceful.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like it's a kids show, but you can put effort into it. Honestly,
they're honestly turning a kid show into a baby.
Yeah, a baby show.
It's really lowering it to the lowest common denominator.
It really feels that way. I mean, at least 4Kids, when they had the dub for the 8 years they did, at least they treated something right every year. At least in the first 3 years, they got the anime. They treated the anime dub well. And in the last 5 years, they at least treated the movie and Pikachu short dub well. Ever since XY started, we don't have anything being treated well. In the main series, I mean, neither is Sun and Moon.
It's in such a sickly state. Like nothing about it is in good shape.
It's just less about quality, just more about just the views.
It's honestly really at this point, I feel like either just improve it or just keep it in Japan.
Yeah.
And they're just absolutely coasting, is what I have to say. They're just not putting the heart in it.
Yeah, I think the royalties is really the only way surviving at this point. That's really the only way, and that's why we're seeing less Japanese music, really.
And go as far as music is just, I'm sadly, honestly, I think Tommy's right. By Gen 8, expect the preview episodes to keep all the Japanese music. Then when they redo them, we'll probably get a 2 and a 1. At this point, that's what I'm. I mean, they could surprise us and go back to Gen 5, which I would love to have randomly just starting to care that much. But looking at the trend is keep continuously downwards. I don't see that.
No.
And now have we gotten to the last topic of the whole podcast? Pokemon I Choose You.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the script and the music first, because then we can get to because everyone has different opinions on the voice acting. Some people like it, some people did not. People are neutral, but on the script and the music, first of all,
horrendous.
Messed up big time. GGG messed up big time.
Yeah, they did. They butchered it.
And this is even more jarring to me when I look at the last movie 4Kids done. That kept 54 out of 54 pieces of Japanese music. They at least care enough to do that for their final movie. This is a nostalgic movie for 20th anniversary. They keep 1 out of 58 pieces of Japanese music. It's not even 55. Philippe told me there's Philippe told me there are 3 unreleased, so they're 1 out of 58 they kept. They also replaced Team Rocket's model.
Very, very disappointing. Pretty much about every piece that 4Kids has ever used, or at least kind of used.
Even in Advanced Generation, they kept in anime. They replaced the Reggie theme. 4Kids kept that a few times, and now that's gone. Yeah. I Choose You movie. It's insane.
I'm pretty sure they even kept the Reggie theme like in the DP dub as well.
They did.
Even some Johto themes that play like Cause for an Alarm.
4Kids kept that all the time almost. And now that's gone. They got rid of Raid. 4Kids kept that every season.
Oh yeah.
It's a disappointment, and this is less to do with Gold Ball, and then has to do with TPCi just ordering them to replace everything, because why not?
This is exactly how I felt when I saw it. Everybody else was just chucking it along like, oh, this is cool. I'm just like,
And once again, we had hopes to have Veronica Taylor reprise her role as Ash just for this one nostalgia reason, and she couldn't get the job. She couldn't.
That's just TPCi's fault again. They couldn't get Veronica Taylor back for
she pushed for her plea to get a role as Ash.
There was a big push and
a movement.
They even sent letters to TPCi for this.
Yeah,
and
even Sean Schimmel said
Son Goku was at the helm of this.
Yeah, he said to get Veronica Taylor and everyone else. He said to get Veronica Taylor back, and then by extension, Harris too, Rachel Lewis, and then somebody else from but nope.
Yeah, Nathan Price. Yeah.
They could have.
What about Nathan Price?
They could have gone Nathan Price to do Meow since Maddie Blossom.
But I mean, it was.
Oh, really? They asked the company to have him play Meowth?
No, but I'm saying like they could have.
There was a push to kind of bring all the
Sean Schimmel was trying to get Veronica Taylor and everyone else, but no.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know.
And then the script, I'm just gonna be honest. I saw the Japanese one. It's not very good. When I look at the translations, Team Rocket got the most rewrites. We all know this,
as they usually do.
TPCi dub, so this is expected. But Entei's on the run. Let's have fun. Really, and yo ho ho ho.
The entire speech Ash makes to the Spearow, I like. It really just shows what nuance and tone can change for a character, and
I don't know why
horrible.
Mess with me and you're gonna lose sounds like a playground bully. It doesn't sound like a boy who's like.
It doesn't sound like
situation. What?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a boy nobly defending his new best friend for the sake of his safety.
And then might makes right. Are you kidding me? For the villain, for the like not the villain, but anti-hero. What is Cross? Cross is like a Damien type thing.
What do you say?
Remember, might makes right. I mean,
you're the worst trainer ever.
Yeah,
might makes right.
Yeah, and also let's remember this was the big Pokemon event of the year. This was celebrating 20th anniversary.
Yes.
And just like we got 10 years before, we just got screwed. It was just... It wasn't a solid for us.
It didn't do it justice. For what it was supposed to be, it had to be. It wasn't up to the par it should have been.
It was,
exactly.
That's my feeling, honestly.
They showed us in theaters. They made people pay to see it. And still just gave you the same crap you watch on Disney XD.
And Pikachu's voice is, I know Pikachu's talented, but a lot of people laughed in the theaters when they heard it.
And they even put it up for free on Pokemon TV for a while. That's how much value they. And then I feel bad for the poor folks that actually had to pay to see this,
including me.
Those that are ignorant don't know, you know.
The voice acting, it's just
that's kind of why I wanted to make a video saying, I know some of you maybe haven't seen the dub in a while. Don't waste your time and money. And I'm pretty sure, I know, I called pretty much everything except for the fact that we somehow got Blu-ray of this movie. Everything else I called.
Correctly.
The horrible distribution, the editing, the script, the music, and subjective, but the voice acting, it's not much better. I mean, there's
honestly,
still
the voice acting. I'm sorry, but it has been 12 years. I'm being reasonable here.
Yeah,
I listened to the 4Kids cast. I compare it to where the TPCi cast is now. Honestly, and this is subjective, this is only my opinion, but I genuinely think the 4Kids voice actors did a better job at the roles they established than the TPCi voice actors did.
They did. Yeah.
They did.
Definitely.
That's even been my opinion for years.
And it's like, time and time again, I've said this, I've tried to come back to the dub, fresh mindset, be like, okay, maybe they've gotten better, and sometimes they have, with Best Wishes, there was a sign of improvement, a chance, but by the end of it all, I would always come out disappointed by one thing or another, and usually the voice acting had just not gone up to snuff. And for 12 years, I think plenty of us, and I myself and all of us, have been reasonable enough to try to give it a chance, have, praised things where they deserve praise. But we're still at this, we're lower than where we started. It's just unacceptable.
The Sun and Moon dub. And full disclosure, I have not seen enough of this dub to give it like a proper critical analysis, but from what I have seen, I really get the impression that I would not like watching it. Simply due to how similar it was handled to, well, how it is handled to the XY dub, but like to even more extremes in a lot of cases, because not only do we have even less music being kept consistently now, but also we have the resurgence of large amounts of censorship and erasure of the Japanese culture that this show is starting to embrace again a little bit in the Japanese version, but again it's getting completely erased in international dubs, which I think is completely unnecessary, because other shows even made in the US embrace other cultures like it's nothing. So it's I don't know. Sun and Moon dub, overall, I think it's very similar in my regards, in my opinions, to the XY dub, because it is handled in such a similar manner. But again, more extremes. It is just kind of nuts how it did get to this point. But with Sun and Moon, the series itself, outside of the dub, already being a base breaker, it completely makes sense to me that financially they have to resort to more royalty business if their budget is just based off anime revenue alone, because the Sun and Moon series has taken a massive dip in ratings, even in Japan. Like, it doesn't even reach top 10 anymore. XY managed to do that still consistently. But no, Sun and Moon is a base breaker, and I imagine it's only going to continue becoming less popular as the series goes on for the next year until Generation 9 happens. Which is a shame, absolutely. But with the dub, again, being handled this way, there's less incentive for people to come in and rejoin it again. Like, you're obviously going to get its fans, its loyal, dedicated fans, to each their own. They can stay, they can like whatever they like, they can support whatever they like. And you're obviously going to get, the masses, like, the families, the kids who will watch it. Regardless, as well. But like a lot of the diehard fans that could help influence more people to bring it in, they've jumped ship as well. Like, and by diehard fans, I mean diehard fans who stuck around and don't like it anymore, not like diehard fans that still stuck around. But it's, again, there's not much else I can really say, because we still have this GGG era of music and script rewrites and censorship now as well. Like, it's more or less the extremes of everything that the 4Kids dub did, but in terms of everything. And it's just kind of, it's a shame to see that it's come to this point, partially because of the fans not enjoying previous works. Even if that was just, unfortunately timed effort being put into the wrong works. But again, hindsight is 2020, but there wasn't enough foresight back then. We didn't know how Black and White was going to end up, nor did we realize what repercussions it would have on the dub. But now we've reached at a critical point for the dub and its future history, because if the show keeps going down this track of being unpopular, eventually I feel like it's not going to be worth to produce the dub in the same way anymore. So they're either going to be forced to make radical changes, which some dub fans may not like, or in another case, well, dub fans, I will, for any fan, I will always encourage, if they financially can, they should support whatever official works that they can. In this case, dub fans, it's kind of a tough call, because if they really prefer something like this modern era of the dub and want to put money into it, that money has the chance of building up and potentially putting more money into it not being so altered, right? Because that's what ended up happening with the Black and White dub. They had a lot of money left over from DP. because of its success, and then it ended up being the most accurate season of the dub in its history. So it's a bit of a tough one because people who aren't fans of this dub and do want that change, the only way to really make that change happen is to either, eventually get, people to band together and sort of demand it out of TPCi, or to support a product that they don't enjoy themselves. And that's not something that I will ever condone, right? Because, like, if you don't like something, just don't financially support it, plain and simple, right? Eventually something like that is going to be affecting it. But on the other hand, if there are dub fans who do prefer how the series is altered as radically as it is, even though I would encourage them in a lot of cases to officially support their artists, that support, that money could lead to them losing that kind of change in this product. It's such a weird scenario, and it's so strange that the Pokemon dub had to come to this point, but that's just basically it. Again, dub fans enjoy this work and put more money into it, that might just end up making a product that they don't like. But if there's dub haters that don't want it, that want it to be different, they're gonna have to pour money into a product they don't like. It's such a paradox, honestly. And it's, again, just a shame that it got to this point. But yeah, I don't even know what else to say. The Sun and Moon, it's not done yet. Maybe there'll be some changes by the end of it. I don't really have much faith in that. X and Y, just more extreme. And, well, 4Kids is worse at its most extreme as well. Yeah. But I will be wrapping this up soon. I will be discussing the alternate universe movies now, because Sun and Moon does not have movies, but I will be dedicating a segment to those. But yeah, that was me and Sun and Moon so far, anyways.